And so one thing that I'd like to say, and I'm going to say it, and forgive me because I will say this a couple times. If you are brand new, uh-oh.
Did I push a button?
No, you just made a lot of noise.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
I was turning on the light, adjusting the camera here.
I'm looking around. It's like, okay, what happened? What happened? So, so this is Ask Doc Live, and everybody who's here should have gone to askdoclive.com and signed up for the reminders so that you can get the invitation to this call. And if you are brand new and you've never tried any of the products that Dr. Wallach is talking about or has spoken about on other programs, then please feel free to contact our call team at 855-949-radio. Okay. And Ruth Ellen, if you don't mind putting that in the chat, and that would be much appreciated so everybody can see that number there. But if you have tried the longevity products and you are just ready to get some more or keep them on an auto ship, Dr. Wallach's going to pay the shipping as far as the auto ship goes.
I will do that, Rebecca.
Yeah, as long as your order is $99 or more. But if you are currently with longevity, get with your distributor. Give them a call. That's what they're there for. They are there to serve you and make sure that you're getting all that you need. So again, we have a couple different ways to get in contact with people for those who are brand new and those who are existing. And you can always go to askdoclive.com and click on the contact us, and we will get your email as well. Now, Dr. Wallach, since we started doing these, I went from getting like 75 emails of questions to over 200 emails with questions wanting to.
Well, that's very good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's crazy
people
good.
Well, people are looking for help because, we're tens of thousands of years into human history here, and we're still having these simple issues where the medical system treats the symptoms as opposed to getting to the root cause of the problem. And that way they get to milk you like a cow. Okay. Now, if they get rid of the problem, they only get paid once. Mm-hmm. If they give you a symptom relief, oh, I just love that doctor. Got rid of my pain in 3 seconds. Boy, I just love that product. And then 2 years later, well, even though we've relieved the pain, your bones continue to deteriorate, and now you need double knee replacement. And oh, by the by, it's $50,000 for each knee, so it'll be $100,000. Thank you. You can pay me off $10,000 a year for 10 years, or if you have insurance, they'll pay. But then they're going to raise your insurance premiums from there on.
Or they come back and tell you, oh, your liver's bad, and put you on a liver transplant list. Oh. I had somebody this week that said they were on a liver transplant.
Oh, we build new livers all the time. They can have, I've had people with 25 surgeries. Their liver's the size of a chicken egg instead of being the size of a watermelon like it should be. And in, like 6 weeks time, we regrew their liver, and they go back in, for their regular quarterly checkup. And the doctor says, we must've got the wrong ultrasound here. Let's do this again. Because you can't have a watermelon size liver anymore because it used to be the size of a chicken egg. We're getting ready for a liver transplant. No, now you got a brand new liver. How did you get the surgery done without me? No, I just regrew it.
Yeah, so this lady, this was a testimonial that I recorded with her, and she went in 5 months, Dr. Wallach, 5 months from the start of taking your products. She was on the transplant list. She had a bunch of issues. And then when she went in just before being, her pre-op, they did the ultrasound and everything. And the doctor's like, you stay right there. Because he went and grabbed her other results.
Mm-hmm. And compared them.
And compared them. He said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your liver right now. we're taking you off the list. And that she was like, and she was,
what?
She was 67 years old. So I'm telling you,
Mhm.
people, it's not too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Age has nothing to do with it. I get people who are in their 90s and 100 and 103, and we're able to rebuild the cartilage in their knees and rebuild their liver, rebuild their heart and all that kind of stuff. I got some great Alzheimer's stories where people are in the comas for 8 years being fed through a G tube for 8 years, waiting for a cure for their Alzheimer's disease. And we gave them our Alzheimer's program through their G tube. And in 3 days' time, they wake up thinking they were just asleep for one night and go back to work as a bank officer. Nobody at the bank knew them because when they went into the coma 8 years earlier, the people who were there were all retired, and the new people didn't know this person, but they still thought they only were asleep one night. Didn't realize they'd been in a coma for 8 years.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Well, Dr. Wallach, I know there was something you wanted to share with us before we really got started with people's questions.
Okay, Rebecca, thank you so much. I want to just welcome everybody, to join your welcoming our viewers and the George and Ori family, and just I always have so much fun with George. We're on earlier in the week and just had a great time. And what I wanted to share with everybody is this. Right now, we are in a big problem. Of course, this COVID thing is spiking again, and that's because the medical system hasn't, and you got to place the blame where it lays, the medical system hasn't pursued this correctly. When you look at 3-year-olds that get the COVID infection, they get an increase in body temperature by like a half a point. It goes from 98.6 to 99.3 or something like that. You can't even call it a fever. And then for 3 days, they'll have a mild common cold-like symptoms, and then it's over with. Okay, they show that they had the COVID, but nothing wrong. Now you get somebody who's 63 or 73 or 83, and they've got like 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 pre-existing conditions like obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, kidney failure. They're on dialysis, all those kind of things, and eczema, dermatitis, lupus, and so on. And they get the COVID, and they get really sick, and they have to go into the hospital for 2 to 6 months, and they're on respirators and so forth. And then, unfortunately, many of them will die, like Herman Cain, that billionaire who was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza. The last day of June of this year, he was diagnosed. He was 74 years old. He was diagnosed with COVID. He goes into the best hospital. I think it was Louisville, Kentucky. And they gave him oxygen because he had respiratory symptoms and antiviral medications and so forth. And then before the end of the month of July, he's dead. Well, how did that happen? Well, when they did the autopsy on him, he had all these 8 pre-existing conditions, but they'd been treating for 20 years. Okay. And he didn't have any nutrition going to his bone marrow, so he didn't have any white blood cells that would go through the bloodstream to kill and eat the virus. He didn't have any stem cells making antibodies to go and kill the virus. Didn't have any platelets to prevent him from bleeding to death. Well, what killed him? Well, killed him, he had these strange blood clots that didn't have any platelets in them. They were just clumps of red blood cells sticking together, filling up all his capillaries. And the reason why he was showing respiratory symptoms was all his capillaries in his bodies were full of these weird blood clots without platelets. And he couldn't get oxygen to his body. Okay. And they let him die because they didn't understand why he was dying. A billionaire. Okay. Herman Cain, look it up. So at any rate, the point that I'm getting at here is we have craziness going on. And of course, I've been doing this since I was 9 years old. I had things that they didn't even have names for when I was 9 years old. My parents took me to 20 different doctors. They were going to institutionalize me by the time I was 9. Been going on for 5 years. Make a long story short, they're going to institutionalize me. The last doctor out of the 20, Mary Jane Skeffington was her name, a lady pediatrician, psychiatrist, eye doctor kind of thing. And she was going to institutionalize me. I said, well, Mom, what does that mean? She says, and remember, I'm 9 years old. She says, oh, you're going to be put in a hospital. I said, well, for how long? She said, well, maybe for the rest of your life. Well, I didn't like that. So we went back to the farm that night and saying, why is it I'm eating the same food the animals are, and the animals don't get the disease I have? And so I started eating animal food, and in 3 days' time, I was cured after 5 years of getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So that started my career, knowing that doctors didn't know anything after 20 doctors got it wrong, okay? And a dumb farm kid, 9 years old from Missouri, got it right. And so I want to just introduce some new tools here, and then I'll go into the story real quick. This is a CD set. There's 2 CDs. It's named after the book, Rare Earth Spin Cures. It came out in 2011. Okay, this came out in 2011. I had forgotten about it. It was in front of 1,000 people. And Ms. Linda Tyler, the one who connects with Rebecca here and gets me on this, that's her church, and her pastor, okay, in Baltimore, Maryland, let me speak to their congregation of 1,000 people. Okay, so this is a wonderful CD set. And of course, it goes into the story that I had given Jerry Lewis the results of hundreds of kids that I had reversed muscular dystrophy in, gave him all the charts. He got so excited, he took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and they fired him. And 5 years later, they had to cut off the telethon in 2015. They fired him in 2011 because he brought him the cure for muscular dystrophy. In 2015, they had to shut down the telethon because without Jerry Lewis, they couldn't raise any money. Well, before that, I had found the cause, prevention, cure of cystic fibrosis. So you don't hear anything about that one anymore. And then April 16th, 2013, a federal judge awarded us a win where we actually forced the manufacturers of baby formulas to put these nutrients into baby formulas because I learned that the babies who were dying of sudden infant death syndrome were not in bed with their mother when they died. Only 2% were in bed with their mother when they died. The other 98% weren't. They didn't suffocate to death. They died of a heart attack. They died of the same thing that they're now calling broken heart syndrome or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease in athletes. And it's missing that one nutrient. So we forced them. After 20 years of trying, we finally got a federal court to force them to put it in. Well, a year and a half later, September 13th, 2014, big headlines in the Charlotte Observer, the big newspaper from Charlotte, North Carolina, kind of like New York Times for New York. We don't know why, but sudden infant death syndrome has vanished in the state of North Carolina. 3 months later, the same thing happened in Missouri. We don't know why, but big headlines in the newspaper, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. We don't know why, but sudden infant death syndrome has vanished in the state of Missouri. Then 3 months later, in every newspaper in the world, we don't know why, but the rate of sudden infant death syndrome has dropped dramatically by 85 to 95% all over the world. Well, that's because they forced them to put that nutrient in the baby formulas. Babies who were breastfeeding never died of sudden infant death syndrome. It was always formula-fed babies. There was a clue, okay? And so I want you to appreciate that one. And then I also found an old DVD, okay, from a year ago, from August 7th through 11th, 2019. I was one of the 5 featured speakers at the Tesla convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico, okay? And this DVD is available, and it'll make you weep and cry because it goes into why we have carbon dioxide going up. It has nothing to do with fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are innocent. Or I'm going to get the coal companies and the oil companies to pay for rebuilding the reefs and rebuilding the ocean and dropping down the carbon dioxide. The reason why the carbon dioxide is going up, not because we're burning fossil fuel. Okay, this happened thousands of years ago before we even had combustion engines, when there was no volcanic eruptions for 6,000 years. It turns out that when you dam up the rivers, and there's 1 million hydroelectric plant dams in the world now, damming up rivers, it cuts off the food supply to the algae, which the reefs eat to make the reefs. Well, this algae, okay, is one of the biggest plant populations on Earth, sucks up the carbon dioxide out of the air, okay, releases oxygen into the air, uses the carbon gas to make carbon chains for amino acids, fatty acids, carbohydrates, sugars, and fiber. And when we dammed up the rivers, we shut off the food supply to those algae. And suddenly now the carbon dioxide is going up, not because we're burning fossil fuels, because we shut off the food supply to the algae. And all this is in great details with maps showing why we dammed up the rivers in Queensland, Australia, to make hydroelectricity, and it shut off the food supply to the western side of the Great Barrier Reef, and then the reef began to struggle. That was 25 years ago. Well, in the last 10 years, all these little small Asian islands, all in the Pacific, or excuse me, the Pacific Ocean, started dealing with this. and they began to build dams to make electricity, and they shut off the food supply to the eastern side of the Great Barrier Reef. Now the Great Barrier Reef is near death. Well, the coal industry and the oil industry is going to subsidize a system that gets the silt from behind the dams, around the dams, over the dams. We don't have to break down the dams. We'll still get our hydroelectricity. We need to get that food, that silt from the volcanoes, and that's why reefs are always around these volcanic island chains. So I figured it all out, and it'll take me 90 days to rebuild the Great Barrier Reef by giving it the algae the food that the Great Barrier Reef eats. And so that's the sort of thing we're working on. Then I have another DVD. This DVD is one of my most recent lectures, and it says, the title is Your Doctor Killing You? Is Your Doctor Killing You? It's a natural follow-up for Dead Doctors Don't Lie, which we have in 9 languages, and we've sold 600 million copies. And then I want to throw 2 more in here. My newest book, of course, is It's All in Your Head, goes into the 25 different diseases you get from osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the 12 pairs of cranial nerves and your spinal cord, okay, as it leaves the skull. People don't realize it, but your spinal cord is formed in the brain, comes out of the back of the spinal cord, or the back of the skull. So when you squeeze your spinal cord, you get all these diseases, almost like sciatica in your shoulders and arms and hands, and your doctors are telling you you have carpal tunnel syndrome and need surgery. No, you get on the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack with some MSM and regrow your skull. All those things go away, including tinnitus, ringing in the ears, and dizziness, and loss of vision. I got some great stories about that loss of vision one. And then going back, one last one, because right now, because of the Black Lives Matter issue going on right now, okay, Black Lives Matter. This book goes back to 2004. I was introduced to Pastor Creflo Dollar from Atlanta, Georgia, and he had a 12-year-old little girl who was supposed to die in a couple of weeks from a genetic form of asthma, and she was born with it, and they told him it was a genetic form of asthma, and she'd be dead before 12. And she was at that point. Now she's 12 years old. She's having like 10 crises a day, and they told him she wasn't going to live 2 weeks. So they called me and said, "Is there anything we can do to help her even at this late date?" I said, "Yes, sir. It's not genetic." And so in 2 weeks' time, I cured her. He had me speak at his church, and so we have the CD, Black Gene Lies. And then he said, "Now, is this true for all the diseases said to be genetic in Black folks?" I said, "Yes, sir. There are no genetic diseases in Black folks." That's why my thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure, because they showed there were no genetic diseases in any vertebrates, including humans. There are no genetically transmitted birth defects. Myself, along with Bruce Lipton, are considered the fathers of the science of epigenetics, which has replaced genetics, which was a dead, false theory, okay? And so this book covers all the diseases said to be genetic in the Black population, because he gave me about a dozen senior members of his churches or Black folks with diseases that are supposed to be genetic, you know, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, kidney failure, on dialysis, and in like 90 days cured them all. And so he says, "Wallach, you got to get this into a book," and he made the CD for me. And so every Black kid in America, every Black kid in the world needs to read this book and listen to the CD 100 times, okay? And then every medical student, before they can graduate school, have to read the book and listen to the CD and pass a test about the not being any genetic diseases. We should never hear that again. And so this is a great, great support to show that Black lives do matter. Black people do not have any genetic diseases. Black people do not have the need to have any birth defects that are said to be genetic, because if they take the 90 essential nutrients for 6 months before pregnancy, there'll never be another baby born with a birth defect. So I get very excited about this. And of course, as you point out here, Rebecca, we're growing like crazy because, you know, there's 45 million people been laid off. They're looking for something to do. And for $50 a year, you know, if that's your cost of being registered as a longevity distributor, for $50 a year, which is tax deductible, $50 a year, that's $4.20 a day, a month, $4.20 a month. You'll be a longevity associate. You get wholesale prices for your own use, and also for your customers' use. You build a community, and let's see here. I will pay the shipping if you get on. You know, I will pay the shipping if you get on auto ship, I will pay the shipping. So you save a lot of money. You don't need a store. You don't need employees. You don't need to have inventory. You just take the order. You can be living in a car because you've been kicked out of your house because you can't make the payments. Take the orders, ship them to Youngevity by email or call, and we will send you a check every month based on the volume of sales you create. And your Youngevity business is a willable asset. Also, if you want to keep it when you retire, your income stream you create, you retire, you keep your income stream, and you add that to your Social Security so you can double and triple your retirement money using Youngevity without even having to have a store. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Rebecca, because I probably talked too long.
No, you did fantastic. And you know, when you're talking about the retirement, my husband retired 4 years ago. We've been able to replace his income with no problems. And I love the fact that I was able to move 1,600 miles, take my business with me. And it's something that when I'm talking with people, they're like, oh, but I don't know how to create a website. Youngevity's done that for you. It's all ready. So when you talk about a turnkey business, that's exactly what it is. It's like, okay, you make the decision, you want to start your own business. We get you enrolled. We plug you into the training that you need so that you can hit the road running. So,
now, Rebecca, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you a doctor?
No, I am not.
Are you a pharmacist?
No, I am not.
Are you a nurse practitioner?
No, I am not.
Well, how do you know what to answer people when they say, I've got diabetes, what do I do?
I plug them into you.
And you have access to the books and the CDs and the DVDs and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I have an amazing library. And I have
it's all tax deductible.
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I have a passion for helping people. I have a passion for nutrition.
Well, we appreciate you and love you for all the good things you do. And thank you so much for helping make this Zoom every Friday available to the general public. And I know it's growing like crazy. And this last Tuesday night, we created a record with George and the number of calls he got. And we have 50 operators. We have 50 operators answering the phone because there's so many people calling to answer health questions.
And one of them is my co-host today, the beautiful
Right.
Ellen. She is on that call team. So
all right.
They are real people, wonderful people. So if you are brand new, don't hesitate to give them a call. And again, that number is 855-949-radio. And I'm on the call team now, and it's really sad that I can't remember the last 4 digits. Really sad. So Dr. Wallach, like I said, I have so many emails, and we have people with their hands up waiting to ask you questions.
Mm-hmm.
And we have comments. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So the first person with their hand up today is Bruce. Bruce, I just sent you an invitation to unmute yourself. You are on with Dr. Wallach.
Good morning, Dr. Wallach.
Good morning, sir. How can we help you?
Yeah, I just wanted to see your take on vaccines. You know, I hear there's a lot of toxins and stuff like that in them, and then they might have us, you know, we might have to get vaccinated, and, you know, what.
Okay, I'm sure you're talking about the COVID, yeah. Okay.
Longevity.
Okay, well, vaccinations, you have to appreciate, was along the path going back 10,000 years ago, okay? And people knew that all these diseases were caused by evil spirits. And the first vaccination was put together by a guy by the name of Jenner, okay? He realized he could give chicken pox to cows and goats and things like that, and then take their blood and vaccinate their blood into people, and they would be protected against smallpox. This was in the 1800s, I think, early 1800s or late 1700s, whatever it was. Okay, Edward Jenner was his name. And that was the first vaccination, of course. And then we had the rabies vaccination, right, come along. And there's times when a vaccination is very valuable. Okay, because when you get bitten by a rabid dog, you don't have time to take some supplements and build up a immunity against rabies for so many years. And so Russia, every year, whole packs of rabid dogs would go and mix with packs of wolves, and the wolves would get rabid, and they go into the villages and bite everybody, and dozens and dozens of people would die from rabies. Okay, and Louis Pasteur, who he was a microbiologist, okay, and he used Jenner's kind of information and created a vaccine for rabies, and began to vaccinate all the dogs in the villages in Russia. So when they mixed with the rabid wolves, the rabid wolf could bite the dog, and the dog wouldn't get the rabies and then give it to the owner. Okay, so there's times when vaccinations are useful. When it comes to the COVID virus and these pandemics, I want you to appreciate that pandemics occur every 5 to 10 years. Pandemics occur every 5 to 10 years because they haven't dealt with the basic underlying root cause of the problem. I'm going to give you one more example here, and then I'll tell you the exact answer to your question. This other example, and Rebecca and I were talking about this before we started the Zoom today, was malaria. No, let me back that up. Yeah, malaria, okay? And malaria, of course, was around for 10,000 years, okay? And then they realized that let's back up. In 1633, they knew malaria. In 1633, a Spanish woman was in Peru, and she had the fever, and everybody knew it was this terrible evil spirits, which happened every year for 10,000 years. And there was an herbalist there who gave her the extracts of the bark of the cinchona tree, which is quinine, and killed the malaria parasite. And she got better, and she took some of that back to Spain with her. And they actually named the cinchona tree after the Chinchon district that she lived in. Okay. And so it became a thing for rich people to get this quinine over the years to kill that spring evil spirit fever. Well, in 1895, a young medical student from England who was studying in India, the microscope just came out, and he looked at the blood of people who had gotten the fever underneath the microscope, and he saw the blood cells had a black spot in them. Then he got a bunch of mosquitoes, 8 of them, just 8 mosquitoes, and he smashed them and looked at them under the microscope and saw they had in their bellies the human blood cells with that parasite in it, in their salivary glands, the human blood cells with the parasite in it. And so he wrote this up in a newspaper or in a little medical newsletter that maybe this is a parasite that's causing this disease. Well, 53 years later, another medical student by the name of Paul Mueller from Switzerland from Switzerland, and he actually invented DDT and started spraying the swamps to kill the mosquitoes because he read Ronald Ross's newsletter from 50 years earlier. And so he began to kill the mosquitoes with DDT, and in 6 months' time, malaria ended. Okay. And so all of these things are part of the process. And so what it comes down to now for COVID, when you look at a 3-year-old who gets COVID, okay, they get common cold-like symptoms for 3 days, it's over with. I think there's like 19 kids around the world under the age of 17 that have died of COVID. Okay, even though there's 20 million people got the infection and 750,000 people have died worldwide. Okay, it's one of those things where what's going on here? Well, what's going on is people with these pre-existing conditions are the ones who die because they're nutritional deficiencies. They have 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 different things. And we go to, of course, again, we go to Herman Cain, the billionaire who was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza. He was diagnosed the end of June of this year with COVID. He's put in the best hospital, given oxygen and everything. He dies 29 days later. He dies 29 days later from the COVID. What? I mean, he's a billionaire. Well, he had 8 pre-existing conditions because he was eating gluten. Godfather's Pizza, pizza crust, right? And so he's eating gluten, he has all these nutritional deficiencies because his villi and his intestines were gone because of the gluten damaged the intestines. And even if he was supplementing, he can't absorb it because the villi are gone, right? And so he died from actually little weird blood clots in his capillaries. He did not die from a viral pneumonia. All right, so if everybody gets off of gluten, and they get on the 90 essential nutrients, within a couple of months' time, there will be nobody again getting gluten any worse than a 3-year-old gets it. Okay, now I'm going to tell you that let's go back 100 years with a big pandemic, the Spanish flu. In 6 months' time, 110 million people from India got the flu, the Spanish flu. 110 million got the Spanish flu in India in 6 months. 20 million died in 6 months from India with the flu. And did they die from a viral pneumonia? And the answer was no. They all died from blood clots. They all died from hemorrhaging. It was a blood thing. And why did that happen? Because the Spanish flu is H1N1 virus, right? So what was going on here? Well, they'd been eating gluten for 10,000 years because wheat was a wild grass in India. And after the First World War was over, they switched over to rice because they could grow more tonnage of rice per acre in that humid area than they could wheat. And when the COVID-19 came along here now, in India, well, guess what? Now they only have like 30 or 3,000 dead, something like that. 3,000 dead and 30-something infected, 30,000 infected. Is 3,000 dead less than 20 million? Yeah. Well, what's the difference between 100 years ago and now? Good medical care? No. They're eating rice like the Asians. When you look at Thailand, they have 69 million people in Thailand as their population. They only have 3,000 infections and 58 deaths. They have 3,000 infections and 58 deaths. They have 69 million people. You go over to Canada, they have 37 million people, about half of what Thailand has. And Canada has 120,000 infections and 9,000 deaths. 300% more deaths and 300% more infection, because Canada is a big wheat grower and a big wheat consumer, and Thailand are Asians and they're all eating rice and sweet potatoes. So if everybody would eat like the Thais instead of the Canadians, we would end this COVID thing like overnight. So I hope that helps you out about the vaccinations.
So would you, if it was mandatory, would you take the vaccine?
If it's mandatory, I'd have to think about that. What would be the penalty if I didn't? Are they going to put me in jail for 30 days? Or are they going to give me a parking ticket? I mean, what are they going to do to me if I don't take it? If they're going to fine me $100,000, I'd probably take it.
Yeah.
Okay. But if they're going to give me a parking ticket, for $25 or something like that, or, even put me in jail for a week, I wouldn't take it. But if they're going to fine me, $100,000, put me in jail for life, I'd take it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You bet. God bless. Mm-hmm.
Right. Awesome. So, Dr. Wallach, we're going back to your veterinarian days right now.
Okay.
Ron has a 18-year-old female cat. She's 3 pounds, and she has kidney disease. He wants to know what supplements he can give her and the dosages. Okay.
We actually have a whole line of nutritional products for pets, and dogs and cats, of course, are our biggest ones, although we do have things for horses and cows and chickens and pigs and so forth, and llamas and so on, and parrots and budgies and so on. But a cat, 3-pound cat, and I deal a lot with being, as you say, being a veterinarian and having a degree in agriculture. We have a multiple called Arthrodex, and it's 1 scoop for 20 pounds of body weight. So for a 3-pound cat that has kidney issues, I would give it about a quarter of one of these scoops of the Arthrodex crystals in his food every day. And I would give it canned or semi-moist cat food. I would not give it dry cat food because they tend to put oats and rye and stuff like that in, which has gluten in it. We want the cat to be able to absorb the nutrients. Then I would also give the fish source omega-3s, okay, from our EFA pluses. I'd go ahead and give that cat 2 of those a day. puncture the little soft gel capsules and squish them onto the food, and the cat will just eat it up because it's a fish source, okay, EFA pluses. And then because of the kidney issues, always when vertebrates, whether it's a cat or a dog or a horse or a human being or a gorilla or a llama, if they have kidney issues, or a whale, if they have kidney issues, it's always an artery problem, because kidneys function by dirty blood coming in through arteries into the filters in the kidneys. And if you have problems in the arteries, you can't get the dirty blood into the kidneys for filtering. And so what I would do is give that cat, start them out with one of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets today, grind it up and put it in the food. If it doesn't want to eat it, it probably won't even know what's in there, but if it resist, go ahead and just plop one of those tablets down its throat every day and rub its little throat and hold it and hug it, and it'll get it. And this will support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through arteries, even arteries and kidneys and the heart, okay? And so let's start there. And it's going to cover all the bases. And, you know, just make sure that that cat is not getting any oil. Don't add any oils or anything like that to its diet or food, because usually there's some source of oil like olive oil or MCT oils or soy oils or something like that when you have plaque and plugging of the arteries, which is usually what ultimately causes kidney damage.
All right, fantastic. Next one is just a question. Can Parkinson's affect the heart?
Well, you have to appreciate Parkinson's disease is a nutritional deficiency disease. Okay, it's not just something that appears. Excuse me. And nutritional diseases do not occur in isolation. In other words, when sailors used to 300 years ago die from scurvy, everybody said, oh yeah, vitamin C, scurvy, limes. The British were limeys because they were the ones that realized if you ate limes, you didn't get scurvy. They didn't know what was in the limes that protected you from scurvy, but they were called limeys because they ate limes to prevent scurvy. That was vitamin C. But then they died from pellagra, okay, which is a deficiency of another vitamin. And then they also died of beriberi, which is a deficiency of another vitamin, because they were just eating salt pork for 3 months out in the ocean. They weren't getting any vegetables or fruit, so they weren't getting any vitamins, okay? And so they're getting all these vitamin deficiencies and a lot of mineral deficiency diseases, but the one that everybody kind of put their finger on because it was curable and preventable with lime juice was scurvy. But they were getting dozens of other diseases. So when a person has one nutritional deficiency disease, the odds are they got many. That's why people that have the gluten issues and they have these 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 different pre-existing conditions. That's why people have high blood pressure, diabetes, low thyroid, kidney function issues. They've got Parkinson's disease. They've got fibromyalgia. They've got arthritis. They have tinnitus, ringing in the ears. They have COPD and AFib. Those are all nutritional deficiency diseases, okay? Because they have the single underlying thing. They're eating gluten, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, are drinking gluten, okay? We're talking about beer and scotch and bourbon and rye whiskey and so on, okay? And so that's why the Asians, okay, with twice the population of Canada, like Thailand, okay, have 1/4, no, it's even worse than that. It's like 1/10, okay, of the number of infections, and only 58 in Thailand. They have only 58 dead, and Canada has like 20 times or 40 times the infections and 40 times the deaths in Canada. And they only have half the population. So why is that? Well, the Canadians are a wheat-eating country, and Thailand is a rice-eating country, okay? So if people get off of gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and take the 90 essential nutrients to deal with these pre-existing conditions, which are all nutritional deficiency diseases, it all goes away. And next year, there won't be any COVID. There won't be any other pandemic. There will never be another pandemic. Just like that's why malaria is gone, because now we're killing the mosquitoes with DDT or other insecticides. We've interrupted the cycle of that parasite. Okay, we had a cure for the fever from 1635 until even now, which was quinine. But that didn't solve the problem because it didn't get to the underlying thing, which was there was a vector called mosquitoes transmitting the parasite from one person to the next. Well, once Paul Mueller came out with his DDT and killed the mosquitoes, that was the end. We didn't even worry about trying to kill a mosquito.
All right. Thank you so much. Next, we have Sandra with her hand up. Sandra Garcia, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. If you could accept that, you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Okay. Good morning, doctor.
Hello.
What an opportunity. I have 2 questions. I'm new in longevity and I'm so happy here.
Wait a minute. Where are you from originally? What's your accent?
El Salvador.
I'm sorry?
El Salvador.
Oh, Salvador. Okay. Welcome to America. How can I help you?
Thank you. I have 2 questions. The first one is a male, 65 years old, 172 pounds. Height is 1.7, and he has glaucoma and high eye pressure. I don't know if I pronounce it well, but I would like to help him.
Okay, he has glaucoma and high blood pressure?
Yeah, and yes. High eye pressure, sorry.
Oh, eye pressure. Okay, well, that's what glaucoma is, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now, yeah, well, there's several possible reasons for having glaucoma. Number one, you can have artery disease in the eye. You get artery disease in your heart. You don't just get artery disease in your heart arteries, right? Your coronary arteries, you get them in your eye, you get them in your kidneys, you get them all over the body, okay? In the brain, every place else. And so usually when somebody has glaucoma, you want to check and make sure that they're okay every place else, right? And you say he weighs 172 pounds. I'd get him off all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils of any kind, no gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, and oats, no sugar, so he can maximize absorption. And 172 pounds, I would give him 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 full doses of a day. That's a full dose of breakfast, a full dose at dinner, of everything that's in the healthy brain and heart packs. And then I want him to have also the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I want him to take 3 of those 3 times a day. That's 3 bottles a month to support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in the heart, the brain, the kidneys, every place else, and the brain. Okay, that's the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. And then I also want him to take our MSM, and that's going to help rebuild the skull and cartilage and ligaments and tendons. Well, what's that got to do with the eye? Well, the optic nerve and the blood vessels going into the back of the eye start out in the brain. They go through the skull to the back of the eye. When people, especially his age, 72, they have osteoporosis of the skull, which is quite common. And it goes along with ringing in the ears and dizziness and AFib, heart problems and so forth, all caused by osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing those nerves. Well, when he's squeezing that optic nerve, which is the second cranial nerve, okay, you get what's called ONA, optic nerve atrophy, and you get blindness, and you can also get pressure issues because that skull is squeezing the artery and the nerve coming from the skull through the skull to the back of the eye, okay? And so, again, that's 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day, once at breakfast, once at dinner time. 3 of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets 3 times a day. It's 3 bottles a month to get the blood flowing through the arteries into the heart, the brain, the eyes, everything. And then I also want them to have what we call, excuse me, our occutive. They come 30 in a bottle, so he needs 2 bottles a month, so he can take 1 at breakfast, 1 at dinner time. And that's going to help increase healthy function of the eye, okay, our occutive. And then, give me a call every couple of weeks, let me know what's going on, because things change very rapidly for the better. But don't forget the MSM, 3 of those twice a day. That's 1 bottle a month. It's a big bottle, so we'll be able to do that. And that's to help rebuild the skull. When you have osteoporosis of the skull, the skull squeezes these nerves and arteries that start in the brain, go out, okay? And so when the skull shrinks and goes back to normal, it takes the pressure off the blood vessels, take the pressure off the nerves, and all those problems go away.
Okay, thank you very much. And I have the second one. She's here in Zoom. She's 59 years old, 135 pounds, and the height says 1.52, and she has, I don't know how to pronounce cataract.
Okay, well, exactly the same thing for her, but she's going to take half of everything this guy's going to take because she's only 135 pounds or 115 pounds?
35.
135, yeah, that's what I thought I wrote down here, 135, yeah. So I would just give her half of everything that this other guy's got, okay? But she's also got to add something else because cataracts, there's another piece going on in here, some very serious free radical damage. So remember, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat bran, no sugar. But she's also, in the earliest of stages, cataracts are reversible. I mean, we're talking, she says, oh, I got some blurry vision. They go to the doctor, he looks in her eye and says, you know, you may have the beginnings of a cataract going on there. It's reversible at that point. But if you can see it from the outside and you're looking in the eye and you can actually see a little cataract the size of a period on a page or size of a pea in that lens, you may be able to stop it from getting worse, but you probably will not be able to reverse it. And once it's really, really bad, you know, it's time for surgery. But at this point, we also want you to throw in 3 twice a day of the Ultimate Daily Classic. Let me back up here. I want you to throw in BTT 2.0 tablets. Let's go with BTT 2.0 tablets. It's the biggest hammer we have in our toolbox for antioxidants. I want her at 135 pounds to take 6 a day. She could take 3 twice a day or 2 3 times a day of the BTT 2.0 tablets. Now the tablets, even though they have the same name as BTT 2.0 and the nutrition, which is vitamins and minerals, the tablets are not an exchange. So you can't say, well, if I'm going to do one, I'm just going to do the tablets and that'll cover both. No. The powder is vitamins and minerals. The tablets are antioxidants to repair inflammatory things, which is what the cataracts are.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, doctor.
You're very welcome.
All right, Dr. Wallach, next we have a question from Wanda. And Wanda, in May of 2019, was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. Had surgery in August of 2019. She's 60 years old, 5'6" tall, 195 pounds. And now they're saying that it's spread to her lymph nodes, and she would like your recommendations.
Okay, so she's got a stage 3, stage 4 breast cancer over a period of some years. That's pretty typical of how breast cancer reacts. Okay, this is not an unusual story. But I'm going to go back to a big study that was done for 20-something years on 92,000 nurses in America. There's a study done on 92,000 nurses in America over a period of 20, I think it's like 25 years. Okay. And what they did was they checked their diets, everything they ate, day and night, for 25 years. They tracked how many of them and who got breast cancer. Well, at the end of the 25-year study, what they found was that the women who had breast cancer had a 425% more or ate fried foods than the ones who never got breast cancer. The ones who got breast cancer, okay, were the ones who ate the fried foods. For eating fried foods increases your risk of breast cancer by 425%, according to that study. It was published, okay? And if you don't eat fried foods, it reduces your risk of breast cancer by 425%. Okay, no fried foods. Okay, so she's got to give up fried foods, processed meats, oils of any kind, no exceptions, no cheat day, no gluten, no wheat, bran, oats, and 195 pounds. And she'll begin to lose a little weight if she's only, you say she's 5'6".
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Yeah, for a woman, I'd like to see her weigh 140, 150, so she may need to lose 40, 50 pounds. Well, she'll begin to lose some weight if she just gets rid of all those bad foods, okay? I want her to eat like an Asian. I want her to eat rice and sweet potatoes with butter, and nothing fried. If no fried rice, you can have wild rice, red rice, pink rice, white rice, yellow rice, it doesn't matter, but no fried rice. And she can have fish. I like smoked salmon. I eat smoked salmon every day for breakfast. You can get it from Alaska. I prefer to get it from Alaska rather than Norway because I want to give our American people the money. Okay, so I like the Alaska smoked salmon. And then she also needs to take this program. At 195 pounds, I want her to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. A full dose of everything twice a day. I want her to get another bottle of selenium. The 1 bottle of selenium will come with each of those healthy brain and heart packs. I want her to take 3 selenium 3 times a day. So she'll be able to do that with the 2 healthy brain and heart packs and an extra bottle of selenium. It's one of her best friends when you have any type of cancer, okay, to support the immune system. Then I also want her to have the BTT 2.0, BTT 2.0 tablets. I want her to take 3 times a day. That'll be 3 bottles a month of BTT 2.0, okay? It's our strongest antioxidant to support the immune system. And then at her age here, 60 years old, I want her to get the MSM. I want her to get 1 bottle of MSM so she could take 6 a day, either 3 twice a day or 2 3 times a day, to support her bone health so that she'll be able to make white blood cells and antibodies to go attack and kill the cancer cells. Okay, I want her immune system participating in her defense. All right. And so between the diet change, the supplement program to support the immune system, we're going to get the best bet for her. I mean, I have so many, cancer patients that have just weeks to live or a month to live, something like that. And, they won't cure them, but they might live 5, 6, 8 years. They have an extra 8 years with their family instead of just a couple of weeks. Okay, so it's certainly worth it. But if people stay away from the bad stuff and do all the good stuff to begin with, it reduces your risk of breast cancer by 425%. So every little girl should be taught, okay, that next to terrorists, your worst enemy is fried foods.
Agreed. Thank you, Dr. Wallach.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Again, if you are new joining us and you would like to get some of the products that Dr. Wallach is recommending or the protocols, we do have a phone team that is standing by waiting for your calls with some amazing people on that call team. They can be reached at 855-949-7234. But if you already are currently a Youngevity customer, please get with your distributor. They are there to help you. If you do not know who that distributor is, you can always call our corporate office, and that is 800-982-3189. Or go to askdoclive.com, click contact us, and you can send us an email, and we can help you there as well. Now, Dr. Wallach, we have Brian Martins with his hand up. Brian, I just sent you a request to unmute. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, Brian, how can we help you, sir?
Yeah, I'm 210 pounds. I'm 6'4". I'm 70 years old. I'm pretty healthy. My only big issue is my cholesterol is about 284. And of course, the doctor wants me to take statins. I've been taking red yeast rice on my own, and I just want to get your recommendations. Also,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought oils were good for us, so I eat a lot of salads with olive oil, but I want to know an alternative to what do you put on a salad?
Okay, well, environmentalists say that the cause of carbon dioxide going up in the air is fossil fuels. Is that correct? No. Was the fever that was around for 10,000 years, which turned out to be malaria, was that due to evil spirits? No. You understand where I'm going?
Yeah.
Just because somebody says something, 25, 50, 75, 100 years later, you found out, oh, that wasn't right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you need omega-3s. They're essential nutrients, no doubt about it. But sloshing a couple of tablespoons of salad dressing on your salads will kill you, especially if it's extra virgin olive oil. What you want to do is package up all your oils, okay, MCT oils, coconut oils, soy oils, all these exotic oils, extra virgin olive oil. Put it in a nice little box with nice paper and a bow and everything, and give it to your doctor. Okay? Now, no fried foods, because usually frying is in oil. And then people say, well, I got one of those frying machines now, no oil. Well, guess what? it heats the fat and the meat up to frying temperature, so you still got the same problem. Okay? So it's just an expensive way to kill you instead of a cheap way to kill you. Okay?
Okay.
Then when it comes to cholesterol, your total cholesterol should be 350 to 550. Your total cholesterol should be 350 to 550. Okay, which is just the opposite of what doctors say. Doctors want you to get your cholesterol below 200, right?
Right.
Okay, well, that's incorrect because 75% of your brain weight is cholesterol. 95% of your testosterone weight is cholesterol. 95% of the weight of estrogen is cholesterol. So why do doctors say cut it down below 200? Because to do that, most people aren't going to eat, strictly enough to do that. So they're going to need statin drugs, and they get a kickback from the pharmaceutical companies, okay, who invented statin drugs to lower your cholesterol. Now, here's the kicker. Remember, I'm a pathologist. My thesis for my postdoctoral fellowship is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. It represents 20,000 autopsies, okay? There are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no genetically transmitted birth defects. And cholesterol does not cause plaque in your arteries. In the plaque in your arteries, there is no cholesterol. And cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Okay?
Okay.
It's like saying, calcium causes kidney stones. And doctors will say, oh, you got kidney stones. No more calcium, no dairy. No. Well, what happens is when you have kidney stones, you have raging osteoporosis, you have a raging calcium deficiency. Even if you're supplementing, if you're eating gluten, you're not absorbing it. And so your parathyroid glands are pulling too much calcium out of your bones to try and maintain blood calcium. They're overreacting. And so the calcium being pulled from your bones by your parathyroid glands are the cause of your kidney stones, not from eating too much calcium. And so any doctor who tells you when you have kidney stones to give up calcium should be put in jail. Okay, same way with cholesterol. Cholesterol is your best friend, especially if you're a guy, because it's 95% of the weight of cholesterol or of testosterone is cholesterol. Okay, so you need to eat eggs with soft yolks. Don't eat fried eggs. That's bad. When you eat, this morning I had 3 soft-boiled eggs with soft yolks with my rice and my smoked salmon from Alaska. I had tomatoes and grapes, and I had all my supplements and so forth. I had some of our tea. I'll have a coffee and a red wine, our Longevity Java Fit coffee tonight with some red wine. One of our distributors actually owns a big winery up in Michigan, so I get a straight supply there. But you want 95 or better % good cholesterol, 95% good cholesterol, okay, when you do an analysis. And you only get bad cholesterol when you eat fried foods and oils, because the oils and fried foods destroy the good cholesterol and damage it so it becomes bad cholesterol, okay?
Okay.
So whatever a doctor says anything about nutrition, flee, because they know nothing.
Okay, great, thank you.
And if you did buy some of the statin drugs, what you want to do is box them up with a nice card, give it to your doctor, says, I'm going to sacrifice myself for you, doctor. I love you so much. Please use my statin drugs.
So stop taking the red rice yeast then too, huh?
No, red rice yeast is fine. As long as it's not fried. Okay. But you just, it's fine. Red rice yeast is fine. It's just a source of calories. It doesn't have any cholesterol in it. It doesn't damage anything. It's just a source of calories.
Okay, great.
Okay.
What do you recommend? What do you put on your salad?
I use lime juice and lemon juice with my pink Himalayan salt with black pepper mixed in with it from our spice division in Longevity. Okay, it's called Savor. Is our spice division. We have a pink Himalayan salt, and we have a pink Himalayan salt with black pepper mixed in with it, and I use that along with lime juice or lemon juice sprinkled in my salad. And it's one of those things where it freaks people out. Well, don't you use salad dressing? No. If I get, for Christmas gifts, people will give me extra bottles of virgin olive oil. I pass it on to doctors who are professors of cardiology in the university.
Great. Thanks for your help. Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Dr. Wallach, I love your sense of humor.
Rebecca, you're very sweet. Thank you.
So we are coming right up to the top of the hour. Would you like to take another call or take a few minutes to get a drink?
Yeah, let's just take a little break here.
All right.
And I'll be back. You know, that's what Schwarzenegger says. I'll be back.
I'll be back. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Ask Doc Live. I am going to go ahead and just everybody take a break. Stand up, stretch, get that blood flowing. All right, and we have a lot of people with questions in the comments. We have a lot of people with their hands up. We thank you so much for your patience. Every one of you are so important. And I know that your questions are near and dear to your heart because they're either for yourself or somebody that you care about. So we thank you so much for joining us here today. If you have sent in questions to Ask Doc Live or to the Critical Health News, rest assured we will get those questions answered either right here with Dr. Wallach, because I have a whole list of them, or we will be responding to them personally and getting answers to you. So thank you so much for sending those in. The response has been incredible. So we, again, appreciate your patience in getting back to you. And if you are wanting to talk to somebody right now, you have never ever ordered any of the longevity products and you're just wanting to get started on this incredible system, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call our call team. We have people that are standing by at 855-949-7234. And I'm seeing a few of them here listening as well. So they know what Dr. Wallach has recommended, and many of them have been doing this for a number of years and are very familiar with Dr. Wallach's protocols as health coaches themselves. So again, we thank you so much for being here. You may also go to askdoclive.com, click on Contact Us, and send us an email with your questions or requests to be contacted, and one of our team will reach out to you and get those questions answered, okay? If you received an email, and of course everybody on this call should have received an email with the invitation to this call, you can also reply to that email. So we thank you again for being here with us. We're going to have another 8 minutes or so before Dr. Wallach gets back. So stand up, have a nice stretch, get yourself a drink, relieve yourself, whatever you need to do. Well, that was the fastest 8 minutes ever. So I was just telling him we had about 8 more minutes before you'd be back, and that was the fastest 8 minutes ever. Are you ready? Oh, hold on. Let's see. We got you muted. Let's go ahead and unmute. Okay, I sent you a request to unmute, Dr. Wallach. All you have to do is click yes or unmute.
How about that?
Perfect. 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 All right. So let's go to the next person with their hand up, and we have Josephine. Josephine, I just sent you a request to unmute. Go ahead and accept it. And you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. This is Josephine.
Hi.
Glad to be here with you.
Well, very fine. How can we help you?
65 years old, 5'4", 132 pounds, and I'm having light spots appearing all over my dark skin in various places.
Okay, let's back up a minute here. You're speaking on a speakerphone or something, a little bit of an echo, and I didn't hear what you had.
Okay, let's try again. I have light spots appearing on my dark skin.
Okay.
All over.
So, okay, are you a lady of color?
I am, yeah.
Okay, and would you have what we would call vitiligo?
I wouldn't diagnose it myself, but I was wondering if that was possible or some kind of oxidative damage or something of that nature.
Okay. Now, do these spots look white or yellowish or pink or?
Well, they're just a lighter shade. And
Okay. Now, what about your hair? Do you have any gray or white or silver hair?
yes, some gray ends are starting at the roots.
Okay. Do you have any varicose veins?
Yes, a few of my legs.
Okay. How did I know that? Have we ever gone to dinner together?
Yes.
Okay. Well, basically, the same deficiency that causes vitiligo causes also varicose veins, gray hair, aneurysms, all kinds of weird things in blood vessels. Okay. And let's see here. What was that very famous black singer who used to wear a glove with jewels on it all the time?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, right. Well, he had vitiligo. He wore that bejeweled glove on his hand because his hand turned white. Okay. And he put jewels on it just, to make it look like it was a prop. And of course, all the kids didn't know he was wearing that glove because he had vitiligo. He also had white hair, and he wore a wig and so forth because he had white hair. And if he would have gotten off of all the bad stuff and taken what I'm going to tell you to take here, he'd still be alive today. But he, followed the doctor's directions and he died. Okay, so it's a terrible, terrible loss when we lost Michael Jackson. Okay, so let's see if we can keep, I apologize, what's your name again?
Josie Thing.
Chelsea?
Josie Thing.
Oh, Josie. Okay, now I got it. Josie, okay. Okay, Josie. All right, so you need to get rid of all the bad stuff. And again, you'll hear me say this over and over and over. That means no fried foods, no processed meats of any kind. No processed meats. I mean, even if you're going to have pizza, you got to have a gluten-free pizza crust, and you can have chicken and salmon and beef and fish and all kinds of stuff, but you cannot have any processed meats like pepperoni and stuff like that. But that's the favorite pizza. Well, that's what kills people. Okay.
Right.
And then no oils of any kind, and then absolutely no gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. If you're going to eat pizza, you want to use the cauliflower, cauliflower crust, cauliflower and rice crust or something like that. And you want to eat like an Asian. You want to eat rice and sweet potatoes with butter. No fried rice, okay, but all kinds of other rice, wild rice, red rice, yellow rice, white rice, and then no gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, or oats, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats. And then at 132 pounds, I want you to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. I want you to get another bottle of selenium, so you can take 6 of those a day. It's not only for the selenium, but there's 5 other cofactors in our selenium, which is unlike any other selenium on the market because of those other 5 cofactors we add to it. And one of those cofactors is the nutrient that's missing when you get varicose veins, vitiligo, and gray hair. And it doesn't take long for that gray hair to go away and your natural hair color comes back. It doesn't take long for your skin color to come back. And I mean, I have people who are very, very dark-skinned black folks, because I work with so many dozens and dozens of black churches all over the world. And they go from whiter than a white person. They look like a white sheet of paper. And then in 6 months' time, they have their original color back, okay? And so, and the varicose veins go away very quickly. And even equally, or maybe even more importantly, if they had the beginnings of an aneurysm in their aortas, or maybe an artery in the brain or kidney or something like that, they heal because those elastic fibers will heal in the walls of the arteries. And so if you get the beginning of an aneurysm or you're on kidney dialysis and stuff, you really need to add our selenium, okay? And so that's why we're going the direction we're going here. And I would like you to, contact us like every 2 to 6 weeks. Anytime you go in to see the doctor and get a status report, and he's going to say, well, I don't know why, but your color's coming back here. We never see that before. And ask them if they want to know, because usually they'll say, no, don't tell me, just keep doing what you're doing. Because they don't want their other patients to do what you're doing, because then they can't send their kids to college.
All right. So Dr. Wallach, we have a comment, and You know, we know that fingernails tell a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have vertical ridges in the fingernails, what is needed to correct that, and what might be the cause?
Okay, well, it's a mineral deficiency, okay, when you have ridges in your fingernails. And so what I like to do when I see people with ridges in their fingernails, they say, what is that? And I say, well, it's probably a mineral deficiency caused by absorption. The first thing you can do right now when you go home is box up all your gluten, all your, spaghetti, whether it's canned spaghetti or dry spaghetti in a box in your cupboard or whatever. Box up all that kind of stuff, anything with gluten in it, wheat, bran, and oats, cases of beer and everything. Give that to your doctor, give that to your doctor with love. And then we'll start. But you got to get rid of all the gluten out of your life. Okay, no wheat, bran, and oats. And then you want to make sure that you're taking the 90 essential nutrients, which includes that one. Okay. Did I hit it, or did I get around it too bad?
You did it. You did it.
Okay.
All right. So next, with their hand up, we have Joseph. Joseph, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. If you go ahead and accept that, you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Good morning, Dr. Wallach. Enjoyed
Yes, sir.
you on Coast to Coast. And I have a question regarding microwave ovens. Are they really useful for preparing food quickly, or are they dangerous?
Okay, the microwave ovens.
Yes.
Okay. For instance, if you slightly melt butter to where there's still some solid butter and it's kind of melting a little bit, that's safe. But if you run it up to like 3 minutes in the microwave and that butter is like flaming, bubbling, you can even hear it with the door closed, you're turning it into trans fats, heterocyclamines, and to toxic substances that will damage you and maybe even initiate cancer. Okay. And so I'm very, very cautious about what I do with microwave ovens. I'll heat water for my tea and coffee, okay, in microwaves. And I might even, put a hamburger in there, frozen, just enough to thaw it out. And it's still medium rare, okay? That's kind of how I use a microwave. I don't really cook and get things to the point where they're well done and all that kind of stuff in a microwave, because heating is heating, okay? The value of a microwave was it saved grandma a lot of time in cleaning wood ashes out of the stove and all that kind of stuff. It reduces pollution from the standpoint of, again, no coal and wood fuel putting smoke in the air, but it still caused problems because microwaves use electricity. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, on the bluff overlooking the city, oh, guess what? They pulled a switch on the first electricity power plant, okay, in New York City, and that began the downfall of human health. And all of this, including microwaves, is just a progression in essentially the wrong direction if it's used improperly. Same way with a car. A car was more dependable than a horse pulling a wagon, but you can kill yourself going 100 miles an hour in a place where you're only supposed to drive 30 miles an hour. You get a flat tire going 70 miles an hour and your car flips over and kills you. Well, a horse doesn't go 70 miles an hour, and the odds are it's got to flip over and kill you just pulling the wagon at a walking pace, right? And so there's downsides to all these modern pieces of machinery, including microwaves.
You wouldn't put a sweet potato in a microwave, would you?
I do sometimes, and I will bake it, but I bake it so that it's still not quite done. Okay, I like it where I just sort of almost I will stick a fork in it in the sweet potato and I bake it, but when I cut it open, it's still not soft and runny. It is still firm.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right. Now, Dr. Wallach, our co-hosts can't raise their hands. And I know Ruth Ellen has a question for you.
Okay.
So let's
Okay.
take Ruth Ellen next.
Okay, we've got to take care of our people.
We take care of everybody. Everybody matters.
Thank you
ahead.
very much. Okay, I have a couple questions that came into me through the chat privately.
Okay.
One is from a gentleman who has vertigo, and he is, oh gosh, now I can't find it. His name was Tom. Okay, so he's 79 years old. He weighs 143 pounds. He's 5'8", and he has vertigo. And I have
Okay.
no other information. And then
Okay.
I have one more that's really long.
Okay. Well, vertigo is most often caused by osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the vestibular branch of the 8th cranial nerve. Okay. And so when the auditory branch of the 8th cranial nerve gets squeezed, you get tinnitus or ringing in the ears and a gradual deafness. And sometimes you get both branches squeezed, you get all that stuff. 79 years old is not too outrageous to think that he has osteoporosis of the skull. And so again, I'm going to throw this up here. He needs to read this book. He needs to get rid of all the bad stuff, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rye, oats, and no sugar. And then I would have him take it 143 pounds with his problems, 5'8", he's kind of slim. I would have him take 2, because he's got some serious problems here. I'd have him take 2 packs, one of the Healthy Brain and Heart pack. I'd also have him take one Healthy Bone and Joint pack, of full dose of, or a half a dose of each of those twice a day. Let's say that, a half a dose of each of those twice a day, or a full dose of one at breakfast and a full dose of the other one at dinner time. There's 2 ways to do that. But I would also have him take our MSM to help rebuild the skull. I'd have him take 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so he can take 3 times a day. That'll help rebuild the skull and all the other bones in the body. Because when you get osteoporosis of the skull, you got osteoporosis all over the body and arthritis all over the body and so forth. And you don't want to fracture a hip and stuff like that either. And so this is very common. As people, and of course, babies can be born with this. If the mother doesn't have nutrition, a baby can be born with osteoporosis of the skull. And of course, they say, oh, they got a birth defect, which is true, but it's not a genetic birth defect. Okay. And some of these deafnesses are reversible because it's just osteoporosis of the skull. And some of the deafnesses are not reversible because part of the brain is missing, because they were missing nutrients when that part of the brain was being formed. But this is very easy. Okay. Get rid of all the bad stuff, fried foods, processed meats, oils, and glutens and sugar. Take 1 Healthy Brain and Heart pack per month and 1 Healthy Bone and Joint pack. Okay, a full dose of each one once a day. And then don't forget the MSM, 3 of those 3 times a day. That's 2 bottles a month. I'd throw in some vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month. And let's start there. And Tom should contact us on a regular basis because he's going to have a great testimony.
All right, and if your question does get answered, if you've made a comment in the comments and then we do address your question, if you don't mind lowering your hand, that would be very helpful so we can get to everybody. And you had a second one, Ruth Ellen?
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Wallach, for answering that. Okay, so the second question says, hi, I am a 48-year-old female. I'm 5'1". I weigh 104 pounds. Please forgive me. I have a blood clotting disease called essential thrombocytosis for past 20 years. I have rheumatoid arthritis in the last 5 years, osteoporosis since 5 years, anemia due to the medications, and suddenly for the first time, menstrual bleeding, lasting over 4 weeks. Taking iron 65 milligrams for last week, but my arms keep going numb and fingers, and I get suddenly weak throughout the day. They want to do a painful biopsy. I have been vegetarian for 26 years. I won't eat meat, but I eat cheese and eggs.
Okay. And now the first thing you have to appreciate is being a vegetarian is very dangerous because nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ice cream. They occur in veins like gold and silver. And a carrot in New Jersey doesn't have the same variety of minerals in it that a carrot from Indiana has, or a carrot from Texas has. Okay, so if you're eating the same Well, my grandmother lived to be 105 eating this recipe. And she lived in New Jersey. Where do you live? Well, I live in Texas. Well, the odds are you're not going to get the same nutrition because the soils are different. So you have to supplement with the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for your weight. And was at 104 pounds, right? and my pen broke here, so I'm going from memory here until I round up another pen. But at any rate, and you have blood clotting problems, and you have menstrual bleeding for weeks and stuff like that, which says that you have osteoporosis and also your bone marrow cavity is being filled up with scar tissue and fat and that kind of stuff. And you have to give up gluten. Being a vegetarian, you tend to eat a lot of grains for energy and also for protein and stuff like that. And that's incorrect, especially if it's wheat, barley, rye, and oats. If you eat like an Asian and you're eating rice and sweet potatoes, that's fine. But no wheat, barley, rye, and oats because it prevents you from absorbing nutrients. Okay, whatever nutrients may or may not be in your food. So all these bleeding issues and thrombocytes and platelets and all this kind of stuff has to do with your villi and your intestines going away because you cannot absorb nutrients when that happens. And you have to supplement heavily based on your body weight. So to deal with all these issues, and I apologize, Rebecca, did she say she had diabetes also?
I don't recall diabetes.
Okay, I didn't either, but I just wanted to make sure.
I do not see that in her list, no.
Okay, so no bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, which she doesn't eat anyway. Absolutely no oils, which all vegetarians eat a lot of oils. So no oils, no olive oil, no coconut oil, no margarines, mayonnaise, salad dressings, cooking oils. Absolutely no MCT oils, no coconut oil, no soy oil. All that's got to go. And then I want her to use and we have a kind of a vegetarian thing like this. It says no fish or shrimp in these products and stuff like that. Okay, certainly there's no beef and whatnot in there. I want her to take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. One healthy brain and heart pack per month. And I want her to take the MSM. MSM would be 1 bottle a month, so she can take 6 of those a day, 2, 2, and 2, or 3 and 3, whatever is easier for her. And I do want her to keep eating cheese, which is very good. I got that part. Cheese is good. Dairy products can be very good for a source of proteins. And again, wouldn't hurt for her to also take some of our extra minerals. We do have a sports drink called Rebound, which has 100 nutrients in it. No animal products, but it has 100 nutrients in it. It has 78 minerals in it. We have our pink Himalayan salt with 84 minerals in it. And she can use our pink Himalayan salt. And she can also, as a source of minerals. And it's going to deal a lot with skin problems, blood vessel problems, bleeding, not enough platelets because your bone marrow is dead, can't make enough platelets. It's known as thrombocytopenia. Okay. And so that's what causes all this extra bleeding and so forth. Not unusual in middle-aged people. You see this all the time. They walk around with hemorrhages under their skin and their arms and their neck and their face and so on. That's because they don't have enough platelets because their bone marrow is dead because they can't absorb nutrients because they're eating gluten. Okay. And so I think that'll cover most of these issues. And just run down through that list again. I apologize. I couldn't write them down because my pen broke.
Okay, so it was, oh darn it. My screen moved. I apologize, Dr. Wallach. Okay, so you had the essential thrombocystosis, rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, all right. That was it. I knew. Okay, that was it. I knew there's one missing.
And yeah.
Okay, so the rheumatoid arthritis is a mixture of a simple bone-to-bone arthritis. Okay, so she's got bone-to-bone arthritis. And then the rheumatoid part is a bug called mycoplasma. Okay, mycoplasma is kind of halfway between a bacteria and a fungus, and it's killable with an antibody called minocycline. So her doctor needs to write her a prescription for 6 weeks for minocycline to kill that mycoplasma bug, and take this program I just gave her, and the rheumatoid arthritis will go away. It's not an autoimmune disease. It's not a genetic disease. It's a bug on top of this simple nutritional deficiency, arthritis.
That's awesome. All right, Dr. Wallach, we've gotten some people with their hands up. We have people that have written in the comments, and I have one here that's from an email. And so this lady, she's about 56 years old, 140 pounds, 5'7". She is a survivor of breast cancer and thyroid cancer. She is taking on a Hoxsey diet.
Hoxsey,
She's on the brain and heart pack. Ocean's Gold. We've got her on extra essential fatty acids and the Fuchs Z. And she's still having problems with her brain and having a hard time remembering things. What else can you add to her protocol?
Okay, I would throw in the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets because vascular dementia is very common in people who reach 50, okay? Vascular dementia, you get plaque in the arteries of the brain, don't get enough oxygen to the brain, you can't think. I'd also have her take our synaptive, which is the raw materials for the brain cells to make the biochemicals necessary for the brain cells to talk to each other. So the synaptive, I want her to get 2 bottles a month of that, take 3 of those twice a day. I also want her to take our de-stress capsules. There's a type of dementia. There's 8 different dementias, okay? And I always treat for all 8, and this is probably a good time to tell you that story. I'll tell you that in a second. So she needs a de-stress capsule. She can take 3 of those twice. That's 2 bottles a month. One more is the Ultimate Niacin Plus. She can take 1 of those twice. It has 1 bottle a month. That covers about 8 different dementias. Oh, she doesn't say she doesn't eat eggs. Does she say
she does eat eggs. Yep,
okay.
She has a farm, eats lots of eggs.
Okay, good. They cannot be fried. They cannot be hard boiled because neither one of those work. And the fried eggs, of course, cause cancer, and the hard boiled eggs destroy the part of the egg that I want, which is the cholesterol to help the brain, okay, which is 75% by weight cholesterol. So I'm going to tell you a great story about memory. This has got to be almost 15 years ago now. This lady calls me up and says, Dr. Wallach, my brother Ray was diagnosed 12 years earlier than when she called me, which was 15 years ago. Okay, she says he was diagnosed 12 years ago with Alzheimer's disease, and they gave him pharmaceuticals to treat his Alzheimer's disease, and it kept gradually getting worse. And at the 3-year mark, he went into a coma, and he's been in a coma for 8 years. He's being fed these meal replacers made from oil through his G tube, and he's getting electrolytes, no vitamins and minerals, but electrolytes, just salt water by IV every day, okay? And so that's what he's been getting for 8 years. Well, his brain waves are about 0 now, and no appearance of any cure for Alzheimer's disease on the horizon, so the doctors just want to pull the plug on him. Can you help him? I said, yeah, I probably can help him, but you got to get 90 days. I need 90 days. And so, talk him into giving you 90 days, even if you have to pay more money or whatever. Give him. And so she said, okay, I'll get 90 days. So what I want you to do is give him our protein shake 3 times a day, a protein shake meal at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And instead of making it with water, I want you to make it with heavy cream. I also want you to make soft boiled eggs or soft scrambled eggs and whip them up with one of these electric beaters, okay? And put 3 of those soft boiled or soft scrambled eggs in butter in each of those 3 meals. I also want you to give them the synaptive, 3 of those in each meal. I want you to give them the de-stress capsules, 3 of those in each meal. The Ultimate Niacin Plus, 1 of those in each of those meals. And I also want him to have 3 of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets in case it's vascular dementia in each one of those meals. But they diagnosed it as Alzheimer's disease. Well, they diagnosed all dementia as Alzheimer's disease. So I'm going to give it all to them. I said, then call me every 2 weeks and, give me a report. And if the doctor's given an examination or a new blood test or something, let me know what they say. Well, she calls me in 3 days. She's screaming and crying. Her brother's name is Ray McGregor. My brother Ray. So, well, what's the matter with your brother Ray McGregor? She says, well, 3 days into this, which is today, he wakes up and he thinks he's only been asleep for 1 night. He didn't realize he was in a coma for 8 years. So he shaves, gets dressed, and he goes to the bank where he was a bank officer 8 years ago. And none of the people who were there when he was there, still there. So all the new people think he's a clever criminal, you know, saying he's a bank officer so he can get in there to rob the bank. And he's laughing. He says, no, you know, check me out. This is me. This is Ray McGregor. This is my chair. This is my desk. Okay. And that's because I treated him for all 8 dementias, not just Alzheimer's disease. Okay. So I covered every base you can think of. And I do this literally thousands of times a month all around the world. And so this memory thing is, again, they're all nutritional deficiencies. And especially if it is Alzheimer's disease, it's caused by a deficiency of cholesterol. So the eggs are absolutely essential. Fried eggs won't work and hard-boiled eggs won't work. So there you go.
All right, thank you so much. So next, we have a 50-year-old man. He had surgery for glaucoma. He lost much of his far vision. He is also diabetic and hypertensive, and he wouldn't take the BTT because it was too sweet for him. What are your recommendations?
Okay, did you give me a weight? I don't have his weight written down here.
I do not have a weight, no.
Okay, well, we'll go by 100 pounds in. Okay, per 100 pounds, this fella needs to take 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. So if he weighs 150 pounds, he'd take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. If he weighs 240, 250, 260, he needs to take 3 healthy brain and heart packs per month. If he weighs 120, he can have 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. I'd also get him 3 of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month per 100 pounds of body weight to support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. Because he's a diabetic, I would also have him take our Sweeties. He could take 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. And then he needs to keep taking his medication and take his blood test every day. And as his blood sugar drops, he can slowly reduce his medication based on the numbers of his blood test. He can't just cold turkey off his medication, okay? He's got to do it based on the numbers and do it gradually. And if sometimes in 30 days, I don't care if he's been a diabetic on drugs for 30 years, and usually in 30, 60 days, he's an ex-diabetic. And then you say he's got glaucoma, pressure in the eye, all right? That's where the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets will help with the high blood pressure, blood flow through blocked arteries. It'll also help with the glaucoma. I'm sure he's putting the drops in his eyes. And then I want him to throw in the MSM to help rebuild the skull. So why are you saying that? Well, because he could have osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the optic nerve and the arteries going from the brain into the back of the eye, which causes an increase in pressure in the eye. Okay, I have some great stories on blindness where I had wagers with eye doctors. I don't know, how much time do we have here, Rebecca?
Well, we have a half an hour, but we have about 14, 15 hands up plus.
Well, let's go with that. Okay, let's go with the other hands.
Okay. All right, so next we have Tom. Tom, go ahead and unmute yourself. Tom, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. If you could accept that, you are on live with Dr. Wallach. Okay, let's move to Annie. Annie, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. Please accept, and you are on live with Dr. Wallach. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello, I'm on live. Okay, thank you. My name is Annie. I'm 72 years old. In December 2008, okay, I'm 72. I'm 5'6" and weigh 130.
Okay.
I have listened to Coast since Art Bell.
Yeah, Art Bell is a lot of fun, and George is a lot of fun.
I love it. I love it. Right, and I love you guys. I have tried your product some years ago. I wish I would have continued it, but for some reason,
never too late. As long as you're still alive, it's never too late.
I am now. I'm getting with my distributor today, and starting to sell it too. And
okay, good. Welcome to the family.
Thank you. I'm in New Mexico now, and I'm moving back to my home state of Ohio in a few weeks.
A Buckeye.
Yeah, Buckeye. So anyway, I'm 72, 5'6", 130. I've been relatively healthy all my life, but I did have some years of smoking. And in December 2018, I had though never had heart trouble, had a ventricular tachycardia. They ended up putting a defibrillator pacemaker in me. So, so I'm now at, they gave me all kinds of drugs,
Naturally.
cholesterol, heart. I'm now dead. To make a long story short, after getting on cholesterol medication, blood pressure, heart med, everything like this, I am now, and I gained 20 pounds. I did lose the 20 pounds. I'm down to the 130.
Okay, and so any other issues?
So now I'm
Any-
taking now osteoporosis. I take meloxicam for the osteoporosis. I take cardaviol. Yeah, cardaviol for the heart.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's a heart medication, blood pressure.
Okay. So,
So I have the osteoporosis, and I take meloxicam for that, and then the CARDE.
okay. Meloxicam, is that a nutrient or is that a steroid?
That's a for arthritis.
I know, but what is it?
Wow, I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, don't waste your time now, but find out. Is it a steroid?
Okay.
The doctor should go to jail.
Okay.
Now, let's see here. When you have AFib, atrial fibrillation, or ventricular fibrillation, or tachycardia, or all three, it sounds like you had 2 of those 3. Okay. Have you shrunk any since you were 20 years old?
Yes, I used to be probably about an inch and a half.
Okay, so you may have been 5'7.5".
I was
Or
5'8".
5'8".
I was 5'7".
Yeah, so you shrunk at least an inch, okay? Yeah, so it's degenerative disc disease. Your vertebrae are getting closer together. The first 4 thoracic spinal nerves, which come out of the thoracic spinal cord, control the rate and rhythm of the heart. Also, the 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, controls the rate rhythm of the heart. So either one of those or both of them together being squeezed will cause AFib, ventricular fibrillation, tachycardia, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to tell you a quick, terrible story about this. There's a guy who is a U.S. congressman in Baltimore, Maryland for like 30 years. His name was Elijah Cummings. He was a Democrat, but he was such a nice guy that even Republicans liked him. Okay. And he developed the same thing you have. And the doctors at Johns Hopkins convinced him the only way they could help him was to do an ablation. They may have talked to you about an ablation. Did they talk to you about an ablation?
No, they just came into my hospital room and said they weren't going to send me back home unless I got this this defibrillator pacemaker in, because I might die.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so they told this congressman, Elijah Cummings, that he was going to die if he didn't have an ablation, which was to use a hot soldering iron and touch the heart and kill the part of the heart muscle that's going crazy. So they anesthetized him, cut him open. Remember, this is Johns Hopkins Medical School in Baltimore, Maryland. And they cut him open and touch his heart with the hot soldering iron and kill him. The doctors went out and had coffee and said, man, that didn't work out. And that was the end of Elijah Cummings. Okay, so the point that I'm getting at here, this is caused by you having degenerative disc disease, your vertebrae getting closer together, smashing the roots of those 4 nerves. The odds are you also have osteoporosis of the skull. Do you have any tinnitus or ringing in the ears, any of that tone?
No, not really.
Any vertigo or dizziness?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Did you ever have any Bell's palsy or trigeminal neuralgia?
No.
Okay. Have you lost a sense of smell or taste?
No.
Okay. All right. Do you have any dental issues? Implants, dentures?
I have I have root canals and amalgam in my, of course, the sage back when I have a lot of fillings.
Yeah.
With the mercury.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what you need to do is get one of our hair analysis, get the book Rare Earths and Cures, go to chapter 11, tells you how to collect the hair, where to ship it.
I'm sorry, what book?
Rare Earths Forbidden Cures.
Okay.
It'll tell you how to, collect the hair and how to ship it, where to ship it. And in 2 weeks, you get the results back. And not only does it tell you what nutrients you're missing or you have optimal amounts of, they're going to tell you if you're absorbing them, because of all the bars for all those nutrients are below the bottom line you're not absorbing. But also it tells you all the toxic metals. Okay? So instead of guessing, do I have a problem? It's worth, and if you're a longevity distributor and in your business plan it says that your business will supply you with your health insurance and your vitamins and minerals and so forth as a benefit of being a distributor, okay, it becomes a tax deductible item to do that hair analysis, okay?
Okay.
So, at any rate, this is a very, very simple stuff. So what I want you to do is get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, around oats, no sugar. And at 130 pounds, I want you to have 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. I want you to get another bottle of selenium, so you could take 3 of those twice a day. 1 bottle of selenium comes with that healthy brain and heart pack. I want you to get a bottle of our MSM, so you can take 3 of those twice a day or 2, 3 times a day for a total of 6 a day. They will help rebuild the skull, also rebuild the disc. You might even regain that inch and get back up to 5'7", because the disc will regrow and take pressure off the first 4 thoracic nerves, spinal nerves that control the rate and rhythm of the heart. It'll repair your skull and take the pressure off that 10th cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, which controls the rate and rhythm of the heart. And this is the way doctors work. They've got 3 sons they have to put through college, and they would rather do, you know, a $25,000 procedure that insurance will pay for. Okay, and you have to keep coming in once every quarter, once every month, or whatever it is when you're using those machines and you have AFib, okay, and tachycardia. So they keep monitoring you, and so they get an income stream which puts their kids through college instead of just giving your body the nutrients it needs and get rid of it. Okay.
Do they actually take these out? Can I get this out?
You could get the machine out, okay, but let's get you fixed first.
Okay.
And then you may have to go to a different cardiologist to get it removed, right? Because the first one might say, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so there you go.
Okay, I am active. I've always been active physically, and I dance. I do ballroom dance.
All right, congratulations.
I'm very active. And Tai Chi and yoga and all kinds of stuff I do.
Well, welcome to longevity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Awesome. Now, Dr. Wallach, we have Millie. She's 41 years old, weighs 198 pounds at 5'9". She feels exhausted most of the time. She doesn't have any skin issues or a history of asthma or allergies. Her main concern is she's having difficulty getting pregnant, and she's been told she has a blocked fallopian tube. What are your recommendations?
Okay, how many fallopian tubes does she have?
She has 2.
Okay, and she has 1 that's blocked, is that correct?
Yes. And then her husband has low sperm count, so that's the second part of it.
Oh, well, that's the second part. Okay, I'll bet he's on statin drugs to lower cholesterol.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to, but we'll find out.
We'll tell her to get him off the statin drugs and give him 9 eggs a day with soft yolks. Okay, and he needs, I'm assuming he's close to her weight, and so he needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. He needs the Xera test, XERA-test. It's a special supplement for the Sertoli cells in the testicles to make testosterone, plus the 3 eggs with each meal with soft yolks. Don't forget the Xera test. And then, let's see here, she needs to, at 198 pounds, and you say she's 5'9"?
Yes.
Okay, 5'9", I'd like to see if she could weigh maybe 160, 170 kind of thing. So she's maybe 20 pounds, a little overweight, but that's okay. She'll lose it. Get off all the bad foods. Both of them get off all the bad foods. She needs to eat 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks, just like hubby. Again, no wheat, bran, around oats. She can live like an Asian, live on rice and sweet potatoes, that kind of stuff. She can also have white potatoes. Let's see here. I also want her to have those 3 eggs twice a day at least, and I want her to have the Xerafem, XERA-FEM. It has all the nutrients necessary to help the ovaries make more estrogen and progesterone. And then again, she's got to get rid of all the bad foods, because both of them may have such a gluten problem. They're not absorbing enough nutrients for her to ovulate properly and for him to make sperm. So both of them, I mean, they can't even say the word gluten. Okay, they cannot go to, they can't go to places like Spaghetti Factory. You know, they can't go to a Waffle House and places like that. It's just they're walking into a cloud of gluten. Okay, so they got to be really careful here. And they even got to watch the dog food, the cat food, because they put oats and rye in dog food and cat food. Preferably, they want to give their pets the canned or semi-moist dog and cat foods, and then add our supplements to it. Don't have any wheat, brought around oats in our pet foods. Anybody who lives in a house with them, kids, people who, let's see here, come to clean the house, people who might be doing things like caregivers, that kind of stuff, people who vacuum the rugs and do the laundry and so forth, they can't be eating gluten, otherwise they're fired. Okay, but I've gotten more women pregnant than any other man in history just by getting them on a gluten-free diet, getting them on the 90, and then give it 3 months before you try getting pregnant, because we don't want a pregnancy and then having a baby with a birth defect because you didn't quite have enough nutrition yet to make a perfect baby. So don't try and make a baby for at least 3 months after you start this program.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have, with his hand up patiently, we have John Hernley. John, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. You are on live.
Hi, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Doc. Hey, I appreciate all your work and from coast to coast. So I've got a couple questions. I've got a health concern, but I want to get on your Mighty 90, your Beyond Tangy Tank, whatever that is. But anyways, I was looking at the Mighty 90, and it says it includes aluminum and arsenic, and I was just concerned about that.
Okay, well, arsenic's your best friend. It's one of the essential nutrients. We actually need arsenic for the liver function. Okay, your liver requires arsenic for some of its functions. So arsenic is a good guy. Aluminum is an essential nutrient in some sort of sideways way. And what you want to do is get a hair analysis. Get the book Rare Earths Bin Cures. Rare Earths Bin Cures. It'll tell you in chapter 11 how to collect the hair, how to send it, where to send it, and you'll get the results back. You'll learn a couple of important things. Number one, if all the bars of all the nutrients are below the bottom line, you're not absorbing. That's very important information, okay, because of gluten. Then secondly, you want to make sure that you look at the other part of the chart, which shows you all the toxic metals, okay, and how much of each of the toxic metal, okay? And so you'll find out about mercury and lead and uranium and all these weird metals and things. And so then when you get all that, you can, give us a call and we'll walk you through this because this is very, very simple stuff, but you need to do that hair analysis, and answer your questions.
Okay. So the reason I want to get on it, I'm 39, 5'6", and 240. Back when I was 27, I was a 5K runner, and all of a sudden I couldn't run anymore. My legs were weak. Come to find out, I got Epstein-Barr and the cytomegalorio virus, CMV, and it turned into chronic fatigue syndrome, and my legs have never had the endurance that they once had. Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you have any ringing in your ears?
Yeah, I do have.
Tinnitus?
When I was 14. Yeah, when I was 14, I took some ibuprofen. I don't know if that's what caused it or not, but yeah, I do have ringing in the right ear.
Okay. Do you have any balance or vertigo problems?
No.
Okay. Let's see here. I apologize. I didn't write down your age. How old are you?
I'm 39.
Okay. All right. And so you're 240 and only 5'6". I would say you're maybe 90 pounds overweight, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So what I want you to do is get off all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, around oats. Because you got all this stuff going on, I'm not going to put you on a weight loss program yet, because if you get rid of the bad foods, fried foods, processed meats, oils, and glutens, wheat, bran, around oats, and sugar, you will lose some weight. You'll lose maybe 50, 60 pounds in 2 months' time just by getting off all the bad foods. I want you to get on 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want you also to get the MSM. I want you to get 2 bottles of MSM per month. Take 3 of those with each meal. And that's going to help support and promote maintenance repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone matrix, and also your skull. Okay. I want you to get this book. Okay, it's all in your head because it goes into osteoporosis of the skull. When you have osteoporosis of the skull, you wind up with this tinnitus or ringing in the ears. You can have osteoporosis of the skull when you're born. You know, if your mama is missing these nutrients, she can't give them to you as an embryo. And so there's many, many babies who are born with osteoporosis of the skull, and they have all these weird symptoms because of that. So let's start there. And you might even try one meal a month, a keto caramel meal. We have a bar and we have a shake. It doesn't have to be the same meal every day. And so you can start out with, let's say, get a couple of boxes of our bars. Most people, even a 300-pound man, can't consume one of those bars because they're very filling. What happens is when people are minerally deficient, they have cravings. It's called pica, P-I-C-A. And even if you eat a 5,000 calorie meal and a half hour later, your blood sugar is dropping and you're hungry again. So you eat another 5,000 calories worth of snacks and desserts. So you just had 10,000 calories. People say, well, why am I gaining weight? And I says, because you're nutritionally deficient. What do you mean deficient? Look at me, I'm 100 pounds overweight. Well, that's because you're minerally deficient and you got this behavior called pica, P-I-C-A. Look it up in any Webster's dictionary. And it's a craving that is driven by and caused by mineral deficiencies. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. Next, we have Faith. Faith is 49 years old. She's on the 90 essential nutrients. She's had some amazing results already.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still having a bitterness in her mouth.
So a bitter taste?
A bitter taste. She says it's not heartburn or anything like that.
Okay, how old is she? What does she weigh?
She's 49, 5'9", 145 pounds.
Okay, any other issues? Diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis?
Not anymore.
Okay. Well, the taste thing obviously has to do with the cranial nerves that deal with the tongue. Okay. We're talking about the 5th cranial nerve, okay, the 4th cranial nerve, the 6th cranial nerve, those kind of things. And also the 1st cranial nerve, the olfactory nerve, a sense of smell and taste kind of go together. And so she needs to get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, rye, and oats. At 145 pounds, she's right at that cusp. And she's already taking, you said she's already taking Young Jimmy products?
Yes, she is. She does have one thing I forgot. She's got a lot of droopingness of the eye, of one of her eyelids.
Okay, that's that's Bell's palsy.
Myasthenia gravis is what she's been told.
Well, myasthenia gravis is one way of looking at it, myasthenia gravis, but also it can be called Bell's palsy. Okay, or it could be both. Okay. And so, yeah, that's the 7th, the 7th cranial nerve, the facial nerve being squeezed by osteoporosis of the skull. So that goes along with the bitter taste and all that kind of stuff. She got that stuff going on. So at 145 pounds, she's right at that cusp, but she's in a dangerous position here, but something terrible could happen. And so we don't want her skull squeezing her spinal cord and causing her to get totally immobile. And so what we need her to do is get rid of all the bad foods, fried foods, processed meats, oils, glutens, wheat, butter, and sugar. And then I'll have her take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dose everything twice a day. I want her to get the MSM. She can have 1 bottle a month of MSM, so she can take 6 a day, either 3 twice a day or 2 with each meal for a total of 6, going to help rebuild the skull and the vertebrae and so forth. I also want her to take our de-stress capsules, so she can take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And let's go there. I mean, there's a lot of other things I could throw at her, but let's start there. I do want her to eat 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. They could be soft boiled, soft yolks, soft poached, soft yolks, soft sauce, scrambled, and butter. Very important. And I've seen people with very bad cancer, their whole side of their face droops, not just the eyelid, their lips and the jaw and their eye and their ear, everything's drooping because of squeezing of that 7th cranial nerve, that facial nerve, but it all gets well when you fix that osteoporosis in the skull. And I should tell you that Tuesday of this last week, this book, It's All in Your Head, on Kindle became the #1 bestseller.
Woohoo!
I was very, very proud of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have the hard copy, so
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Well, Kindle, of course, does the
digital
voice.
electronic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. And next, let's go to John Brandt Jr. John, go ahead and unmute yourself, please. You were on live.
Working okay?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Doctor, yeah. Anyhow, back in May, I was told by my doctor and his assistant that I'm going to need both knees replaced. Plus, I have rotator cuff issues in my arms. But
Okay, I missed the arm thing. I got the knee thing. What'd you say about your arm?
I had tears in both rotator cuffs. And,
Okay.
And I've been on the 90 days since May the 28th. And, you know, it's a good thing, and I like the products. But that's not the reason I'm calling. The other day, because I've had so much pain in my knees, and I had crepitus, and I had 2 ribs that were displaced, 2 and 4. I had, God only knows how that ever happened. So I was in pain since January until May with my shoulder with 2 ribs displaced. And
Okay, we only have a few moments here, so let me jump on this. How much do you weigh, John?
I'm 5'7", 170 pounds. I'm 65. But my problem is this, doctor. 2 days ago, I noticed my left testicle, it's enlarged. I have no clue. That's my major issue now, my left testicle. It's enlarged.
Okay. Well, you need to have somebody examine it and do an ultrasound of it and see if there's a tumor in it, right? You could have a hernia. That's another possibility. Okay. And so there's several things going on there. But let's deal with the greater issue here. And of course, that could also be caused by squeezing of some of your lumbar nerves. Because have you shrunk any since you were 20 years old? Are you shorter now than when you were 20?
A little, but because of my knees, I'm forced to sleep in the chair. I can't lay
Okay,
down.
that's not the answer to the question. The answer is yes. How much have you shrunk?
Oh, I don't know, maybe an inch. I've been 5'8", but I'm 5'7" now.
Okay, so you were 5'8", now you're between 5'6" and 5'7", right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so when you shrink, you get pressure on the spinal nerves. Okay, you get sciatica, low back stuff, you get pain in your knees and so on. And you know, at your age, you say you're 39 years old?
65.
Oh, 65. Where did I get 39? Okay. Okay, 65 years old. Okay. Yeah, 65 years old. Yeah, so the odds are you got osteoporosis, you got arthritis, all that kind of stuff. And so what I would do is I would delay any thoughts of even considering surgery for at least 90 days. Get rid of all the bad stuff. I mean, really, everybody in the household, yourself, the dogs, the cats, the birds, the fish, everybody's got to be, and yourself, of course, you've got to be drop dead, gluten-free, no wheat, no barley, rye, oats, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, barley, rye, oats. And at 240 pounds, I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. You know, I don't know what you're taking right now, but I want you, this is for our greater listening audience also. I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. That's a full dose of everything twice a day. I also want you to get 2 bottles of MSM, so you can take 9 of those a day, 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 at dinner time. They're going to help repair and support, promote maintenance and repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, knees, hips, shoulders, rotator cuffs, all that kind of stuff. And then I also want you to get our vitamin D3, take 3 of those with each meal. That'll be 9 a day. That's 3 bottles a month of our vitamin D3. I don't care if you live in Florida, you're not going to go outside without putting sunblocker on your skin or sitting in the shade. You're not going to lay out there for 6 hours a day naked to get the sun. So you need to take your vitamin D3. I also want you to take our collagen, our glucogel from beef. Okay, you could take 5 of those with each meal. That's 2 bottles a month of the capsules. And also we have a collagen peptide, which is collagen from fish, poultry, sheep, and beef. I use both the glucogel and the collagen peptide, so you could consider both. And let's see here. I also want you to take the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I want you to take 3 of those 3 times a day. That'll be 3 bottles a month. They're going to support and promote healthy blood flow through blocked arteries, support healthy blood pressure. Do you have any diabetes or blood sugar problems?
No.
Okay, good. But then also, don't forget, I do want you to get 1 box of the keto caramel bars, and have 1 meal a day, a keto caramel meal. It doesn't matter. It could be breakfast one day, lunch the next day, dinner 3 days in a row. It doesn't matter what meal, but 1 meal a day, a keto meal. And let's see if we can't help you lose a little bit of weight. But give me 90 days before you even start talking about knee replacement, because I regrow knees for professional athletes, Olympic athletes, university athletes, 102-year-old people, doesn't matter. If you do everything I tell you, regrowing the cartilage in your knees is an extremely easy thing. And so, you know, movie stars, I mean, some very famous people, don't have time to rattle off all their names, but very, very, very famous people politically as well as sports and so on.
Okay.
So give us a call every couple of weeks. Let us know what's going on. Anytime you go to the doctor and get a reevaluation, they're going to be shocked when they say, well, we need to redo that ultrasound because you've got cartilage there now. You didn't, you know, 3 months ago. Let's have a look. Oh my gosh. And you should ask them, do you want to know what I'm doing? They'll say, no, get out of here. Because they don't want to know what you're doing because they don't want all their patients to get the same results.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet, John. Okay. What do you say, Rebecca? Do we have time for one more or are we done?
We're at the top of the hour, so that's totally up to you, Dr. Wallach.
Oh, let's call it a day here because I got a Zoom in Australia coming up and so I have to say good day, mate, pretty soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach, for joining.
I want to thank you and your team for just such a great job as usual. You're fabulous. I want to thank Ms. Linda Tyler too for helping with the connection, make sure the connection was perfect. What a team you guys make. God bless you and look forward to seeing you next Friday.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. God bless you as well. Have a fabulous day.
God bless. Lieutenant Colonel Wallach signing off.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Again, if you are brand new to ever trying the Youngevity products and you want to call, we do have a phone team that is standing by at 855-949-7234. If you have already been on the Youngevity products in the past or currently, go ahead and give the distributor or the representative that you've been working with a call and say, hey, let's do a reevaluation, see where I'm at, see what I need from here on out. They are there waiting to talk to you. You can also go to askdoclive.com, click on the contact us and send us an email and we can get in contact with you as well, or a simple reply to the email that you received about this call. And we can get your questions answered there. So if you did already send in a question and we did not get to it, I certainly apologize. I will be going through those emails myself and sending out replies to them with what Dr. Wallach would recommend. And I know we have a lot of people that still have their hands up, still have questions in the comments. So if you want to stick around, then I can definitely go over some of them and share information. Now, one of the questions that was asked by Mark, and that's what supplements can one take to get rid of COVID? So if you're looking at doing supplementation only, you have to start with the 90 essential nutrients. I mean, in the 90 essential nutrients, you have your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That has your B vitamins, your C vitamins that are very essential for helping your body to be able to have a strong immune system. Now, I do want to say here, we've got this disclaimer. Our products are not meant to cure anything. But I can say that when you give your body the raw ingredients that it needs, your body can do some amazing things. So this is informational only. So please, you know, work with your doctor if you're already under a doctor's care. When you're taking supplementation like this, especially with ours, you're getting 90+% absorption, which is unlike what you would be getting if you were taking something over the counter, where you're getting anywhere from 8% to 26%. The Youngevity products and the way Dr. Wallach has put them together, they synergistically work together with all of the cofactors that are needed, that the body needs, rather, to be able to actually utilize them deep into the cells. Okay, so as I'm listening to all these different conditions that people are suffering with, I'm thinking, yeah, that was me, that was me, that was me. I had severe anemia. I was looking at transfusions. I had osteoporosis. My bones were so porous that I mean, I had pain all over. Anything that I did, I couldn't run. Going up and down stairs, I was afraid I was going to fall. It didn't matter if I was going up or down. This was less than 30 years old, folks. I had ringing in the ears. I had carpal tunnel. I had metabolic syndrome. All these different conditions that even as an herbalist, I wasn't able to fix myself. I knew the answer was food is medicine. I knew the answer was there, but I wasn't getting that synergistic blend that longevity has, that Dr. Wallach put into the products. So I am a living testimony that Dr. Wallach's products work. After a late in life pregnancy, I was on bed rest for 5 months, just trying to keep the pregnancy going. It totally messed up my hormonal system. Right after the baby was born, which during the pregnancy, I gained 60 pounds. After the pregnancy, I gained another 60 pounds. And didn't matter what I did, I could not get it off. But the first 3 months of being on Dr. Wallach's products, I lost 20 pounds and I wasn't even trying. I got over migraines that I'd been dealing with since I was 8 years old. I had had a torn hip capsule, which after the second week, I was walking across the floor before I realized I wasn't in pain and I wasn't holding on to anything. I had herniated discs in the cervical and the lumbar part of my spine that was causing radiating pain and numbness and tingling. By the 7th week, that pain had stopped. By the 9th week, I didn't even have numbness and tingling anymore. And I was able to go up and down ladders and finish getting my house ready to sell, which I had been almost completely bedridden for over a year after a car accident because the pain was so great, and that put the sale of our house on hold. So if you have any doubts in your mind whether or not Dr. Wallach's products work, I'm here to say they absolutely work. But it's your body, your digestive system. They have to be in proper working order for you to be able to get the results that you need. And it takes consistency. You can't just take something 1 or 2 days and expect a miracle. Your conditions did not happen overnight. I mean, mine started before I was 8 years old. And now I'm almost 50, and I feel greater and better now than I did when I was 16, when they wanted to do surgery because I had lots of calcium overgrowth on the backsides of my kneecaps. And that's all because I wasn't getting those cofactors. I wasn't getting the minerals and the vitamins and the amino acids that my body needed. So again, our products are not designed, and this information is not to take the placement of your doctor, but take it as informational. Listen to your body. What is your body telling you? Is what you're taking right now, is it working for you? Or is it time to try something different? Because I know for a fact my body was not chemical deficient. And everything that I was taking before longevity, I was getting worse. I mean, it's, you know, you start taking one thing and then they have to add something else to counteract the effects of one medication because it compacted problems with another part of your body. It's crazy. But going back to the basics and giving our body the nutrients that it needs, using food as medicine, cutting out the things that Dr. Wallach says. I mean, that first year, I wasn't 100% with that good foods, bad foods list. I'm going to be completely honest here. But whenever I made that change, I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible. I can show pictures from 4 years ago to now, and people are like, you're aging backwards. And I'm like, yeah, I feel it too. You know, I can go outside in the winter and play with my grandkids in the snow, going up and down the hills. And my oldest son told me the first time that I did that, he's like, Mom, you never played with us in the snow. He said, you know how good it is to see you playing with your grandkids in the snow? And I was in no pain. I hadn't even thought about it. So the fact that I can do that now, and I wasn't able to do that, he's 33 years old, and I wasn't able to do that with him as he was growing up, means a lot to me. And I have Dr. Wallach to thank for that. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help build this community, to help spread the news that you can empower yourself with your own health and that there are other options. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you would like to still ask a question as a certified holistic health coach, as a community herbalist, and then working with Dr. Wallach's protocols for the last 4.5 years, I'm pretty intimate with them, and I'm here to answer questions for you as well. So the hand that I see up is with Renee. Renee, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. Would you like to ask a question? Go ahead, I hear you loud and clear.
Hi, sorry, we got new windows putting in today, so a lot of activity.
No worries.
I've been working with a distributor for about 3 months. And when I first started working with him, I was getting sick 2 or 3 times a day, couldn't eat anything. I was throwing up just nothing. And so he's gotten me to where I couldn't take the full dose of everything, of the products. So I started taking smaller doses, and with his recommendation. And so now I'm able to start eating eggs and stuff like that, trying to do Dr. Wallach's protocol. I need to reorder products, and I don't know if you know, but he didn't know. Have you ever heard of Guillain-Barré?
I have not.
Okay.
What are some of the symptoms of that?
Well, I ended up in the hospital, and it's kind of like MS,
okay,
but it's more, I mean, I had to have a spinal tap and everything. So I was hoping to talk to Dr. Wallach, and I'll have to call back next Friday because I really want to see what he recommends me to take for Guillain-Barré. And you know, I have to go to the neurologist and all that. Everything gets numb. My hands are numb. My arms are numb. My legs are numb. And
okay, so he's going to say that has to do with the pinching of the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is one of the most complicated nerves within the body. And if that's getting pinched,
when I looked at his thing, you know, he had a thing that showed different ailments. Like I do also have Epstein-Barr.
Okay.
And diverticulitis and stuff like that. But Guillain-Barré, he brought out, he's the first doctor that I've heard talk about that Guillain-Barré is a swelling of the brain. And so everybody else is not saying that. They're just saying, you'll be fine in 3 years. You should be back to normal. And so
next week, as soon as you get in, raise your hand, Renee.
Yeah, I had my hand raised, but I know there was a whole bunch of people, so.
There was a lot of people. That's why I'm saying as soon as you get in, raise your hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because that.
I do go in order by the order that they're raised, and also the questions that come in through the comments.
I know, but unfortunately, I don't know why I'm at the top of the list, even above you.
Other people, well, you're going to see yourself first, no matter what order of anything.
Oh, okay.
I see a different order. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I see an order of when people raise their hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so no, I just, I need to reorder, and I was kind of hoping to order whatever he thought.
Yeah, so I work very closely with also Dr. Joanne Conaway, and she is a gut specialist. Based on what you've shared, not being able to take the products at first, having to gradually work into it, and then with the things that you have going on, you would highly benefit from doing a 20-day gut protocol or a 20-day flora restoration. So ask your distributor, your representative about that, doing the Dr. Conaway's 20-day flora restoration.
Okay.
Okay. I've had some clients that I've been working with for 4 years, and we've been working on the gut, and everything just wasn't quite getting right, but we did that flora restoration. And even before we got to the end of the 20 days, they had some amazing benefits. And they were better absorbing the nutrition, so the body could actually use what you were taking in, and it wasn't just being pushed through. So
Yeah,
ask the representative about that.
Okay, yeah, because I still can't take the whole,
Yeah.
I'm not even taking, for my body weight, I'm not even taking as much as a third of what I should be.
Okay, you really need to focus on the digestive system and getting that working properly first.
And that's the flora.
It's the flora restoration.
Okay.
So it's a group of products, you take at specific times of the day. So a lot of people don't realize that if you've got so many different things going on, and even if you don't think you have a digestive problem, your body's not absorbing. You have a huge digestive problem.
Well, yeah, because once I ordered the 90 Essential, and then we ordered a few other things, and I just called him and I says, you know what, I'm still getting sick and it's running right through me, and so he told me to cut back on it a little bit, and so then it was getting better, and I do feel better, but I still have all these other underlying problems that I feel better, but I'm not, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I still have a long ways to go.
Definitely get that 20-day flora restoration. It's
Okay.
30 days worth of supplementation, but there's that 20 days. That's so very important with specific products.
Okay.
That is going to be probably a game changer for you.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And then if I come back next week, then
raise your hand right away.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Becca,
you're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Would you like her to send you privately her email address and you can email it to her?
Yeah, I can do that as well. The best thing though would be to send a response to your reminder about this call. Did you get her an email reminder about this call or an invitation to this call?
Renee?
Renee, send a response to that, okay? Because then I can respond email wise. Otherwise, if I write down your email and it's not quite right, you're not going to get it. So, all right. Next hand we have up is Teresa Beckner. Teresa, I just sent you a request to unmute yourself. Go ahead, dear. How can we help you today?
Hey, Becca. You've heard my complaints before, and I just finally put stuff together a little bit with this call.
Okay.
So, in the last few weeks, I've been, I was doing the keto. I've been on the 90. I've been gluten-free faithfully, I think, since June 29th, and doing the 12, staying away from the 12 bad foods.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing the keto, I started having abdominal distension and decreased appetite and weight gain. So I went off the keto. I'm just staying on the good food, bad food. I'm having edema in my feet and legs, shortness of breath, coughing. So I got tested for congestive heart failure, and it's not likely to be that.
Good.
And I have Dr. Wallach kept asking about tinnitus and ringing and having blockage at the head and cervical vertebrae. And actually, I was just going to a chiropractor starting in May or June.
Mm-hmm.
before all this started, because I could hardly move my head. And he's been working at the very top cervical vertebrae, the axis, to get everything moving there. So I'm thinking that might have something to do with all the rest of this, because I have so much vertebrae problem from the axis, all the cervical vertebrae.
Yeah, so the axis is where everything comes through.
Right.
All the nerves through and then coming down into the spinal cord.
So
Absolutely.
he's having
I know it will.
Yeah, and you know, when they get you with that little hammer thing and knock it back into place.
Yeah. So
I mean,
my
it's
question to you,
yeah, your question.
to you, Teresa, is have you been adding extra minerals?
I've been taking 3 ounces of minerals a day.
Okay, good. And how about your fluid intakes?
I was trying to do 100 ounces of water a day. But I've gotten to the point where my abdomen is so distended and I feel so bloated, I can hardly eat, and water makes me feel worse.
And have you done the 20-day flora restoration?
I'm working on the 20-day flora restoration now, but some days have gotten off because I was feeling so weak. I would sleep for like 12 to 18 hours.
And that's your body telling you you need the rest.
Yeah.
So listen to your body, okay? But you still set the reminders so that you can take those products at their given time. Dr. Joanne Conway's been doing this for a number of years. She's got it down, dialed in, and it, like I said, it's done some amazing things for a lot of my clients.
So since I feel like I've gotten off track, actually this last 2.5 weeks, I've gotten off track with everything. Should I start the flora restoration and program over, because the last few days have just been a mess? So should I start it again day 1?
Yeah, you need to start again on day 1 and be very consistent.
Okay.
So well, even if you're not doing like the keto part of it, stick to the 12. Good, bad.
Right.
Okay, make sure you stick with that while you're going through this protocol. Make sure you're taking your 90 essential supplements. So whether that's the Healthy Body Pack or the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack, doesn't matter. Take them and make sure you're taking them with this 20-day flora restoration.
Okay. And it's like, I have never taken the whole amount for my weight. And the way my stomach is so messed up, it's been hard for me to take even half of what I was.
Yeah, understood.
So I'm trying to do what I can. And I'm taking like my minerals in the morning with the
So in the beginning, I wasn't able to do the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. Because some of the same fillings. So I did the Ultimate Tangy Tangerine, which is the concentrate.
That's what I'm taking now.
Okay. And has that helped it all?
An ounce of minerals in it. I can do that. An ounce of minerals, but lately I've gone to an ounce of that, an ounce of minerals, a scoop of the I-26, and a scoop of the collagen, and making a shake out of it in the morning.
Okay.
And then at night I take minerals and the calcium, an ounce of each.
Make sure that you're following Dr. Conaway's flora restoration to the T.
Okay.
The enzymes, the Digest FX, the I-26, all of those, the nightly essence, need to be taken at their scheduled time.
Okay, so take those exactly and take my supplements.
Yes.
I'll take them the best I can until I can tolerate them better. I think that would be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, I'll put in another order today. I've been ordering stuff like crazy here lately, trying to get it right. I thought, oh, I need to just figure out what it is I need to take.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Renee, if you're still on when you reply to that email, I should have said this earlier. Sorry, Teresa, for cutting you off.
You're okay.
Renee, include your age, your weight, your height, so that I can make sure that the protocol that I send to you is appropriate there as well. Okay. So Teresa, yes, just stick with it.
Okay.
Don't give up. I see you almost every day, so we're going to keep track and make sure you get where you want to be.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like the last 2 weeks, I think one day I said I'm finally coming back from the dead. Part of me's wondering too if some of it isn't the healing that Dr. Glidden talks about.
Yep. Yep.
When
So you're
you
going to be going through the detox stage and a healing stage where you feel like you're getting worse, and then all of a sudden
you feel better.
Bam. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that some of it was the healing stage with totally being, you know, my clean diet and everything.
Yep.
That some of it's the healing stage going on. And the swelling in my feet and legs, I just don't know what that's about. But
Are you getting movement?
Excuse me?
Are you getting movement at any exercise?
Yeah, even when I had no energy, I would do ankle pumps and knee and raise my legs and stuff just to be moving some, even when I had no energy. My energy went from walking over 1.5 miles a day to not being able to walk 1/4 mile.
Yeah.
Just like overnight. It was just from 1 week to the next. And
well, I'm glad
so
you went in and got checked out and ruled out the congestive heart failure.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, they did
It's
put
just,
me on some basics just to get some fluid gone so I can be more comfortable. So I'm gonna just see, because it doesn't feel good when you feel like your legs are like sausages and you have water.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So got to get rid of that so that I think I'll breathe better too.
Yeah, and the Ultimate Daily Classic, make sure you're taking that. That helps with the circulation throughout the body.
Yeah, I was just put that on the list along with the book It's All in Your Head, because I was looking down the list of everything in that book and going, okay. Which made me think
amazing book.
my chiropractor opening up my neck.
Yeah.
May have gotten that flowing better too. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm hoping this is the cure side of everything.
Well,
start over with the 20
yeah,
day.
so keep us updated. Keep us updated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am going to be having a call of all testimonials, folks. So if you've got a testimonial to share, keep a lookout for that, because we will be doing a call of testimonials. Again, this is not here to replace, you know, the advice of your doctor. It's for informational purposes only. Products do not heal, cure any type of ailments. But when you give your body the raw ingredients that it needs, your body can do amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Becca.
You are very welcome. And again, you know, thank you everybody for still hanging out with us. If you are brand new to this call or listening to Dr. Wallach for years and years, even decades, and it's finally time for you to say, okay, let's do this. What I'm doing is currently not working. I want optimal health. Give our call team a call. They are there standing by to help you. 855-949-7234, or send a reply email to the email that gave you the information for this call, and we can get you some assistance there as well. If you're a current customer, again, get with your representative. They are there to help you, okay? So I thank you, everybody. I'm looking through the list to see if there are any other questions. Oh, somebody had asked, we already have COVID. I started to say this and I got sidetracked. Sorry. Definitely the 90 essential nutrients, okay? We have the Zinc Plus Immune, which is a product that has some amazing nutrients in it that help, one, they're antiviral, okay? Viruses can't live in a zinc-rich environment. So that right there is a good thing. Plus we have the Zinc FX, which are yummy tasting lozenges that you can just suck on, pop one in your mouth anytime. Especially if you're going to be out and about and you have some type of underlying condition, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself. And then vitamin D3, make sure you're getting vitamin D3. Now, Longevity's vitamin D3 is not just D3. It has the cofactors in it that the body needs to be able to utilize that vitamin D3. Okay? So the whole thing about cherry picking and taking, you know, one thing off the shelf for this and one thing off the shelf for this, and then hoping that they synergistically work together, they don't. And to just take calcium without taking any of the cofactors, our body cannot absorb rock. It may take that rock and attach it to the bone, which is something that I myself experienced, and continue to attach it to the bone and have a body head to toe at the age of 30 with bone spurs. And it's very painful, very painful. But when you're taking calcium and all of the cofactors, then the body's able to absorb it deep into the cells. And like Dr. Wallach was saying during the call, the bone marrow becomes dead. You're not, and in the bone marrow, that's where our blood is manufactured. That's where our white blood cells are manufactured. Our red blood cells are manufactured. And if that bone marrow is dead, it's not going to be manufacturing healthy blood. And we want to make sure that we're giving our bodies what it needs so that we can do that. Our bodies can't generate different mineral, a lot of vitamins or minerals. I mean, some things they can, but for the most part, Dr. Wallach calls them essential because our body can't manufacture them. We have to take them in. Okay. So let me go through. And Taylor, if you're still on, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that condition that you mentioned. Please go ahead and email in at the contact us or get with your distributor. I think somebody mentioned that you do have a distributor, and get with them. They'll be able to see what Dr. Wallach says about that condition. Any other questions?
There was a question, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
that,
please.
It said, how do you improve hypothyroidism? And that person that asked that question is still on the call.
Okay, so hypothyroidism, Dr. Wallach is very adamant about the biggest hammer in the box, and that is the brain and heart pack. Making sure that you're getting all those nutrients per weight. So that's 1 pack per 100 pounds. You want an extra bottle of selenium. You also want to add to that our Ocean's Gold. Again, that's Ocean's Gold, and that's going to be 2 per day per 100 pounds. So if you're 150 pounds, you're looking at going with 2 twice a day, okay? And that's going to be with food. So that's going to help give the thyroid what it needs to be strong. We have another product that you can take into consideration. And again, with thyroid issues, we want to make sure that your digestive system is really actually absorbing and utilizing the nutrients that you're taking. And this is something that I put one of my clients on, that when they came to me, were having thyroid problems. We got them on that 20-day flora restoration program. Their body was able to absorb nutrients better. After that, they were feeling almost like a new person. I don't want to say 100% better, because we can't make any claims like that, but they're like, man, if this is all the results I get, this is amazing. And that was just doing the 20-day protocol with the brain and heart pack, okay? And then reevaluate. You know, our bodies are continually regenerating cells. So as our cells are regenerating and getting healthier and healthier, we need to look at our bodies, see what's going on, and then take a look at, okay, what do I need now? What still might be missing as far as nutrient deficiencies? Are there any more holes that I need to plug? Okay, and take into consideration that all of the longevity products have been formulated to synergistically work together. Each nutrient has a cofactor that it needs to be able to be used in the body. Just taking one single nutrient is not going to do it. That's why Dr. Wallach doesn't say that one single nutrient, because they all work together, but that one single nutrient is the biggest missing link. Okay. So a lot of people say, well, what is that? What is that one nutrient? I'm not going to tell you, because if you were to go to the store and just get a bottle of that one single nutrient, you're not going to get the results that you're expecting, because the other things that your body needs are still missing, even though you're getting that one thing. All right. Were there, let's see, is there another question? So Susan, if you're still on, I see your question here. And again, please email. Please email with that. I want to double check with Dr. Wallach. Yours was the next one to ask him before we ran out of time. So again, that's Susan Abrams, if you're still on. Please email as a response to your invitation to this call. Now we do have Jane with her hand up. Jane, I just sent you an email to unmute yourself.
Are the tablets the same as the brain and heart pack? I don't know, the powder, how does that work?
So the powder, there's a couple big differences between the powder that's in it, which is the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, and then the Beyond Tangy Tangerine tablets. Okay, so in the tablets, you don't get the minerals that you get in the powder.
Okay.
You don't get the amino acids in the tablets at all. That's in the powder. Those amino acids, those proteins, the body has to have. That's how we're going to maintain muscle mass. How we're going to maintain, and of course, our heart is a muscle. If it's not getting the proteins or the amino acids that it needs, we can start having what's called muscle deterioration. And that's just a breaking down of the connective tissue. So all of our connective tissue within our body requires those amino acids. So no, they are not the same. The tablets can be used with the powder and giving you additional antioxidants. And that's basically what the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is super antioxidant formula. So if you've got a lot of free radical damage going on, Dr. Wallach definitely recommends doing both. Or at least the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack with the Ultimate Daily Classic, which helps support the promotion of circulation throughout the body to get all those nutrients running through.
Good.
Great question. Great question. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around with us. Again, Ask the Doc Live. If you have any questions, if you're currently a longevity customer, get with your representative, or you can call the corporate office if you don't know who your representative is. That number is 1-800-982-3189. If you're brand new and you're wanting to get your hands on some of these products, you can contact us at askthedoc.com or respond to the email invitation that you received, or talk to a live person. I mean, I love Ruth Ellen. She's one of my best friends. And Donna is on here as well. I mean, we have several of the people who are on that call team with us today. Amazing people. You can get a hold of them at 855-949-7234. Again, that's for if you're brand new and you're wanting to get the longevity products for the very first time. Okay? You are all fabulous. I mean, the fact that you're taking this time and empowering yourself with knowledge for alternative ways to address your health concerns is very admirable. Very admirable. We appreciate you all. We love you all. And we'll see you again next week. Same time, 8 o'clock Friday Pacific time. We'll have 2 hours with Dr. Wallach. And again, if you have questions, as soon as you get in, raise your hand. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.